Okay. So we are in the 13th chapter. We have done 3 sections so far. Anyone remembers which sections we have already done in the first 19 verses? We can refer to this MIH file, which I have on my screen. So Kshetra and Kshetragya, which we have discussed in the first section. Then we discussed about the knowledge, 20 components of knowledge Krishna discussed in 8 to 12. Object of knowledge, this is what we discussed last week, it's called Gyeya. So we've discussed 4 sections. So today we'll try to discuss the 5th and 6th, which is Prakriti and Purusha, which comes in 20 to 26. And the last section 27 to 35, Acharya has explained this is called Jnana Chakshu, which is like a bonus section. So Arjun has not asked about it. So Krishna is sort of making his own summary and giving a higher overview of the whole thing. So he has already answered all the questions of Arjuna till 26, but giving an extra section here as a bonus section from a teacher to a student. Okay, so let's do a quick revision. This was a series of verses which we spent quite a lot of time last week, 8 to 12. I will not go through it again. One of the important thing to look here is 11th verse, first line, Maicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktir Avyabhicharani. So we are in the middle of, not middle, actually beginning of the Jnana section, and Krishna is openly talking about Bhakti Avyabhicharani. So this is a pretty strong statement, which sort of defeats those Mayavadi statements that this is just a Jnana section. No, within the Jnana, and we'll see it consistently appearing. In 13th chapter, Krishna will use twice Bhakti word. In 14th chapter, he will use 15th chapter. In every chapter, Krishna is openly using. So that's why Vaishnava's interpretation that this section of Bhagavad Gita of Jnana Yoga is leading towards Bhakti Yoga, and that will be proven. So every couple of verses later, you will see this getting used, so which is a very strong message by Krishna, although we are sitting in the Jnana section. Okay, let's start from 13. Okay, we can do this one very quickly. Who wants to start? Madhuri Mataji, would you like?
I was not there in the previous class, but I can try. Do you want me to do, Prabhu?
Up to you, Mataji.
Okay.
If you heard the recording, you can. If you don't want, that's also okay.
I did hear, but yeah. Okay, so translation. I shall now explain the knowable, knowing, which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit, the beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. So Krishna continues to say about Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and all the opulences in that way, and how it leads for us to lead to bhakti. So here again, he's trying to explain like Neyam. Neyam is again knowable. That means Krishna himself. Yet is the one. Yet is which, that is that, and pravakshayami. So pravaksha means I will try to disclose. So he is trying to disclose the knowable. Yaj is again yaj gyatva amruta ashnoti, means amruta is the nectar. So when you try to know about the knowable, then that is like a nectar, and that tastes like a nectar. And anadi is there is no beginning, that is beginningless. He is a beginningless. Mat param is he is the param is transcendental. He is on high. So mat param is whoever is subordinates to me. Mat param Brahma. He's a spirit. Na sat tan nasat nasat uchyate. Na sat.
So Sat and Asat, Mataji, we can say Sat is the eternal, Asat means temporary.
Yeah,
But here
Sat
Sat and
and
Asat,
Asat. Yeah.
little different Prabhupada has translated. Sat is the cause and Asat is the effect.
Effect.
You can read. So this lies beyond the cause and effect of this material
World. So the knowable or knowing about the higher or eternal is which is Brahman. Here he is telling about the Brahman, which is beginningless, which is Anadi, and it is a subordinate to Krishna.
Yeah.
And it is beyond the cause and effect of this material world. So it is above the material world, but below Krishna.
That's
and
right.
This is about Brahman.
Yeah. Very good explanation. Just with the recording, you're trying to break the words. That's very nice. Thank you, Mataji. 13, 14. This is a pretty straightforward words. Ravi Mataji, would you like to do? No, okay, that's fine. Rupam Prabhu?
I'll do it, Prabhu.
Okay, Mohit Prabhu ki jai.
Do you want to do?
Yes, please, Prabhuji. अब आप आ ही गए हैं
Okay,
तो
Prabhu. We read the translation.
yes.
Okay, translation. Prabhu. Everywhere are his hands, his legs, his eyes, heads, and face, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. So this is a pretty straightforward one. We didn't talk much about, but we talk about attribute of the absolute truth. So we just break down the words. Sarvata Pani Padamta. Sarvata is everywhere. Pani is hand, and Padam is leg. So everywhere is hand and leg. Sarvato Shiro
Akshi.
Mukham.
Just
So
Akshi, Prabhuji.
everywhere Akshi Shiro
Eye.
Mukham. So Akshi is eyes, Shiro is head, and Mukham is faces. So everywhere is eyes, head, and faces. And Sarvata Shrutimal Loke. Sarvata is everywhere, Shrutimal ears. So everywhere is ears. Sarvam Avratya Tishtini. He exit everywhere. So we talk about here Brahman, that he exit everywhere, and especially in personal one.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very straightforward words. This 13, 15, that's very nice one. Rupam Prabhuji, would you like to do? Has a special flavor in this verse.
This way.
I think the flavor is around the contradicting
Thank you.
qualities
Quality.
exist within the spiritual world. So we touched upon few of the definitions around asakta, which is to stay detached. Nirguna, the master of all gunas, all spiritual gunas, not the material one. Then arupa. So I'll start with the translation. So the super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature. So it's quite similar to what we learned in Bhagavatam, that Krishna is everywhere. He is in everything, but at the same time, he's detached. He's not stick to any particular, and that's why the definitions of asakta comes in, that he's detached. He's also nirguna, which is master of all gunas. We discussed about arupa, which is the spiritual swarupa. And overall, probably we need to understand this from the concept of achintya Vedaved, where he exists, but at the same time he is untouched. He's not involved in it.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, so that's the sense we need to feel, and that contradictory features only can exist in Supreme. For us, it's not possible. Tadurecha antike is a verse, actually it's coming right now. I'll not do this verse, I'll just pick up. So durastham cha antike chatat. Cha tat. So durastham means he's very, very far. Antike means close. He is very, very close. So which form he is close with? Paramatma form. All living beings have super soul. Durastham, we can refer to Karunadakshayi Vishnu or Golok Nivasi Shri Krishna, whatever. That's very, very dur, very, very far. But Antike, he is very, very close at the same time. So these qualities cannot exist in Jiva. It has to be Super Soul or Bhagwan. Bahir Antasya Bhutanam. He is Bahar as well as Andar. Huh? So it's very straightforward. Now let's do the next one. Similar theme is mentioned in 1317 as well. Contradictory qualities of the Supreme. Just the last line in 1318 is very important. Hridi Sarvasya with his Vishishtitam. Vishishtitam. That means he is situated in the heart of all living entities. Anyone knows another verse in Bhagavad Gita which says a similar thing?
Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtam.
Hridi Sannivishte.
Thank you. 15 more. Hirdadeshe Arjuna Tishtati, 1861. Hirdadeshe. Krishna clearly says, I am situated in the region of heart. Ishvara Sarvbhutanam. That's also there. Similar thing is mentioned here. So Krishna is situated in the region of heart. This is the conclusory verse. I'll just quickly read it. Iti Kshetram Tatha Jnanam Geyam Cha Oktam Samasataha. Samasataha, anyone remember? Samasataha. So in Hindi, there's another word, samas. That's okay. In Sanskrit, it's the word samas.
Summary.
Summary.
In summary.
So samas has another meaning as well, but also meaning summary. So here we're taking summary. So Krishna is saying, I have explained you Kshetra, Kshetragya. Kshetragya is sort of implicit in that. Jnanam and Geya. In summary to you. And then he says, Mad Bhakta Etad Vigyaya. Again, Bhakta word is used. Who can understand all this? Mad Bhakta. Only my Bhakta can understand it. So from one sense, if you read Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita, you will not realize that this is a Jnana section, because even in the Jnana section, Prabhupada commentaries are purely devotional, purely devotional. Even Krishna is telling all this. He's not saying Jnani will understand, he's saying Mad Bhakta will understand. And then if you understand, what will happen? Mad Bhava Upapadyate. Mad Bhava means my nature. You will attain my nature. Very, very clear definitions are given. Okay, let's start the next section. So as we are seeing in the summary, yes, Madhuri Mataji.
Prabhu, here initially Krishna started saying about, knowledgeable, knowable, and etc. And then suddenly he shifted to Brahman. He's telling about the Brahman. And then after that he says like he spread his legs everywhere and all.
That's
So
Geya. That's the Geya.
Geya is knowable.
So Jnana, if you remember Mataji, 8
Yes.
I still opened it. So the qualities are given here.
Yes.
What qualities? Now, even to summarize this is difficult, but you see individual qualities, Amanitam, Adamaitam, Ahimsa, Shantir, Arjun.
Yes.
These are the operational qualities in the material world. This has nothing to do with your devotion qualities. Krishna is not saying how many rounds did you chant on for Mahikadashi, did you do for Mangalarti and all those things, right? It's
Yes.
operational qualities. These are called, and this Krishna is calling as Jnana. Etad Jnana iti proktam Ajnana yad anyatha. So everything else Krishna is saying Ajnana. So Jnana also can have multiple definitions. What Krishna is taking here, the qualities, the operational qualities of the soul within this material world.
Okay.
So what is Geya? He's talking about absolute truth. What
Yes.
is to be known? Through
Correct.
this Jnana, what is to be known? Brahman, super soul, has to be known. Because there are only three things, if you remember from the beginning of the chapter. There's a Kshetra, there's a Kshetragya. Kshetragya,
Yes.
the knower of the field, is two types, Atma and Paramatma. Kshetra is the body. So we're talking about the living entity and the knower of the and the body, the influence of that living entity, Kshetra, Kshetragya. Now it's talking about Gyan. What are the operational qualities you need? And then talking about Geya, what you need to know. Now with the Gyan, just for an example, you are in IT. That's also a Gyan, right? And with that Jnana, you try to resolve some projects or whatever, right? So that is also Jnana and Geya. But Krishna is talking specific Jnana and specific Geya. And now with that, Krishna is moving towards Purusha and Prakriti. So these are sections of this chapter you can see, Mataji. That's how Krishna is sort of divided.
So my question is like, he's saying like legs are spread everywhere. So whom he is referring here? Is
Super
it
soul. Super soul.
So himself, right?
Yes, is the form of
Like
super
Atma.
soul. So if you read Mataji Prabhupada's translation, I'll say open 14 or something. super soul exists in this way, super soul. And that's why if you look in this translation here,
Yeah. So Prabhu, next
Shraddha.
verse also again, this verse is telling about, see, previous verse he told about Brahman, this verse he told about the super soul.
Yes,
Then what will be the next verse, Prabhu?
I think it's also super soul. That's what Prabhupada is referring to. And Prabhupada
Okay.
is not translating, and that's why this is Jnana section can be explained in different way.
Okay.
Prabhupada
Okay.
translating in this way. The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. Huh? So you see very consistent translation of Prabhupada in each verses.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's continuing to say about super soul. So basically he's saying like these all are knowable
That's right. That's
and
right.
subordinate to him.
Yeah,
Okay.
through the Gyan, like through your knowledge, say you did your master's or graduation, whatever, through the knowledge, what is the knowable thing? You say, okay, I have to resolve this problem. Huh? There's a purpose of that knowledge.
Yeah.
And also we discuss, if you remember, Mataji, there is an object of knowledge and there is a goal of the knowledge. Jnanam, Gyayam, Jnana Gamyam. So Gyan is the knowledge. There's an object of knowledge, and we gave the example for doctor checking, a patient's body, checking different parameters. That's the object of knowledge. I want your blood test result, for example. I want your scan results. That's the object of why are you doing the scan? You want the scan result. But why do you need the scan results? To cure your disease, isn't it? So the goal is to cure the patient. So here the patient is us. So whatever we are sort of studying through this chapter, in some obviously samasataha, the goal is to get love of Godhead. Even if you know about soul and super soul, if you don't get the love of Godhead, shrama eva hi kevalam. All you have done is just a labor of the body. So goal, but what you need to know Atma, Paramatma, and their interaction. What's the relation between Jiva and Bhagwan? And the purpose is, so object of knowledge is Atma, Paramatma, and their interaction. And what's the goal of that knowledge? To get back to Godhead. Get back to Godhead. So there's a subtle differences there. So that's why Krishna is sort of explaining in Samasata, in summary, about all these fields in few verses of 13th chapter. So,
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Now just add one more thing. Our acharyas do explain this is one of the chapters which is technically in Bhagavad Gita speaking is the toughest one. Now Chaitanya Charitamrita also explains Advaita Acharya was having the Srimad Bhagavatam classes every day, so he was explaining this Bhagavad Gita verses every day at his home. He has classes. Now in 13th chapter he came to, and I can't remember one of the verses, I think 16 or 17, where he came and he could not explain the devotional meaning of that verse. So Krishna came in his dream and explained the devotional meaning of that verse. So this is one of those chapters where even Advaita Acharya got a little stuck, externally speaking. He is Bhagavan, so he cannot get stuck. But the point is, he was explaining, and then Advaita Acharya said, there has to be some meaning, but I don't know that meaning. And he prayed to Krishna. Krishna appeared in his dream and said, this is the explanation. And then he was very happy. And that's noted by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So there is some confusion, which we should just look at straight at Prabhupada purports and just follow that, because these verses can be explained differently. So we are just reading Prabhupada commentary on these ones. Okay, Vijay Gopi Mataji had hand. Okay, not anymore.
Partly it was answered, Prabhu. My question was on the verse number 14. So everywhere is hands, legs, and eyes. So these are imaginary?
Yes and no. Like, let's say Jagannathji doesn't have hands, but he does have hands. So whenever the need appears, Jagannathji extends his hand. So we know this pastime of Dasya Bauri. Dasya Bauri could not go in the temple inside, so he was offering a coconut to Jagannathji. And in front of everyone's eyes, Jagannathji extended his hands from the altar, grabbed the coconut of Dasya Bauri, and went inside. In Rajapur Jagannath, another incident comes of Jagannathji. When Pujari was holding Jagannath, Subhadramaya, Subhadramaya's eyes when he was carrying, because they have a bedroom separate than their lounge room. So in the night, Jagannathji goes to the bedroom to sleep. So this Pujari just unknowingly was carrying the deities with the eyes touched. So one day deities told them, don't touch my eyes, eyes are sensitive. That's why we should never touch the deity with the eye. We should always touch with their feet or maybe with the hands if we have to lift the deity from one place to another place. But the Pujari said, okay, we'll not do it. And after a few days, he again forgot. And he says, Balramji slapped him. Big slap. And his cheek was completely red. So he said, oh my God, he's really serious about it. And then he went to Pankajangarahi Prabhu in Mayapur. It's a live incident. And he noted in his book. And he said, because he's the authority, Pankajangarahi Prabhu was the authority in his field. So he said, Jagannathji does have hand. And that's why we wrote the book. So Prabhu, to answer your question, yes, he doesn't have hand. He has hand. We cannot say it's imaginary. Imaginary will be, again, a Mayavad concept. But externally, we say Jagannathji doesn't have hand. But whenever the need arises, he comes and grabs, he slaps.
Probably we should visualize that.
Huh?
Probably instead of imagine, we should visualize that.
We should visualize it. So from our mundane vision, he doesn't have hands. Yes. But from a devotional vision, he does have everything. He has legs. And that's why we say he doesn't have legs, but he walks the fastest. Jagannathji can walk the fast. He doesn't have hands, but he can grab. If you offer something with devotion, he will come and grab it. So it's maybe not appropriate, the word imaginary. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we have...
That Sakshi Gopal example is also like that.
Sakshi Gopal, thank you, Mata.
Yeah.
So if you can talk, you can walk.
Walk.
And Krishna got stuck. Phasa liya. So thank you. So there's so many incidents like that. So deities usually doesn't walk. If you see Muslim invaders came and sometimes they were able to break the deities, break the temples. So where is the strength of Krishna? Where is God? There's so many. But God's strength is not limited to that simple deity or a Bhagavad Gita which is being burnt. So God is a lot more than that. But when the need arises, when there's a reciprocation needed, deities have done so many things. Madhya Puri pastime, so many pastimes are there. Rupa Goswami pastime is also there with Prabhupada. That's also there. You see a photo behind me where I am. Okay, I'm here. Yeah, Rupa Goswami and Prabhupada conversation. And this has happened. Live pastime. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji. Ujjwal Rasa Mataji and Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, we've been talking about Kshetrajna, who is the knower of the field. So there are two knowers of the field, the soul and the super soul.
Yes.
Then we talked about Niyam. So that is the knowable. So Geyam. So that is the knowable. And knowable is soul and super soul again.
Super soul here. Super soul. So soul here is going
But here in the purport, it says,
which verse you are talking, Mataji? I'm looking at 13, 14.
13. Now,
okay.
13, the third line,
yes,
Prabhupada in this purport says, now he begins to explain the knowable, first the soul and then the super soul.
Yeah. So that's fine.
So knowable includes soul and super soul again. So my question is, Neyam and Kshetrajna, are they similar? Are they same? Or they are? Can they be used interchangeably, or are they totally different? And in what ways it is different?
Okay, thank you, Mata. So there are different terms being explained in the 13th chapter. The subject matter can be same. So there are different terms. And in Jnana Marga, I was listening to Chaitanya Charan Prabhu lecture somewhere, I can't remember which one. And he said, sometimes there are too many terms and we don't know what does it mean. Because in Vedic terminology, there are so many terms. And Arjun was not an ignorant person. He was quite knowledgeable, but Krishna is still explaining because each one can have, different sort of meanings. And then Krishna is saying it, I'm explaining you in Samasata, in summary, whatever is needed for that occasion. So, Mataji, to answer your question in summary, the subject matter is same. And as I said, there are only 3 subject matters which we need to understand through Gaya, soul, super soul, and their interaction. And what is the goal? It's not like, okay, super soul is there in their house, I'm in my house. That's also, you can say, okay, I know about it. But no, the goal of that knowledge is to generate love of Godhead. So very specific. Like when you appear in exam, this is a simple example. purpose is not just to appear in the exam. Purpose is to pass the exam. So similarly, when we're studying this subject matter, what's the purpose? To generate love. If we get the love of Godhead through this matter, that's success of knowledge. Otherwise, it's just gyan, not you haven't sort of achieved the purpose of that knowledge. And that's why many people, especially coming from Indian background, they get stuck to gyan. They have a lot of knowledge. If you sit in front of them, you'll feel like, what Bhakti Shastri? I don't know anything. Huh? They will explain in such beautiful sort of terminologies. But Prabhupada have written in second chapter, if I'm not wrong, 46th verse, he said, we should not be attracted towards this flowery language. Very flowery language, very attractive language. We should not get attracted. So bhakti, a bhakta or aspiring devotee, even aspiring devotee is a lot higher than a jnani, because his goal is pure. He may not be pure, his goal is pure. So yeah, that's why Prabhupada sometimes repeats the same concept. You feel like he's repeating. Why? Because he wants to repeat the goal of that knowledge instead of explaining. Yeah, Chaitanya Prabhu also explained. Prabhupada is not explaining too technical details, because if we go too technical there, we may not be able to sort of put the message. But Prabhupada has given the objective of that knowledge, and that is what we are focusing at.
So the terms are different, but the understanding is same.
Subject matter is same. That's what it is at the end of the day. There are only 3 subject matters which we are focusing through this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Sakhi Radhika Mataji.
Prabhuji, just now we did this 13.19, and this has been like bothering me from some time, reading Prabhupada's
Like Advaita Acharya.
I don't know,
He was
like
also bothered in his mind. Krishna, please reveal in my heart.
I don't understand. Again, Krishna says that you will attain my nature.
Yes.
And then again, we hear in lectures about Krishna consciousness. I can be totally wrong. Please explain. It's just going on in the head.
Yes.
That Krishna consciousness word we've been hearing. It's a very normal terminology, but I feel it's very vast. It's very deep, because on a gross level it is Krishna consciousness. Okay, we are thinking about Krishna consciousness. Okay, but there is correct me if I'm wrong. There is a layer to it. Like Lord says that will attain my nature. Does that mean that a devotee starts thinking on the note of Krishna, like Krishna's nature? Like, what does that Krishna consciousness on the higher level means?
In simple terms, just through this verse, I'll explain, Mataji. I'll come to Krishna consciousness later. So when you're talking about thus attain my nature, so servant carries the quality of master. So if your master, for one example, is very kind, very compassionate, a true servant will also represent master's qualities. It does not mean master and servant are one, but servant carries the quality of master. So that's what is explained. That's why you see devotees have similar nature to Krishna. That means if Krishna is, again, kind and compassionate, Krishna is has so many nice qualities. Devotees also carry those qualities. It does not mean devotees are Krishna. It just means they study about Krishna, they talk about Krishna, so they also get those qualities. That's why I talk in 16th chapter, divine and demoniac quality. Now, just on that, I'll add one more thing which comes to my mind. One of Prabhupada's disciples, he was on Prabhupada's appearance day after Janmashtami. There's a big program in ISKCON temple in Vrindavan, and he was sort of making his offering for Srila Prabhupada. And he said, in his own words, he said, when I joined Krishna consciousness movement, I felt like Prabhupada was God. He said that. But I was wrong. Prabhupada was not God. Which sounds correct. It sounds correct. Initially, he was not correct, but then he said, I thought Prabhupada was like God, but I was wrong. And then he added, he was more than God. Why? God did not come to Lower Bowery to save me. Prabhupada came to Lower Bowery to save me. So Prabhupada is more than God. And he started crying. He said, he saved a rascal person like me. He saved his American-bodied disciple. So this is what the position of a devotee is. So when we're talking about attaining my nature, so basically Krishna is saying he will become like me in nature, and we're talking about all the good qualities of Krishna. Like we say, Radharani is more compassionate than Krishna. Who is Radharani? Is the best devotee, more compassionate. Yes, because she carries those qualities. Similarly, devotees, they don't distinguish between, oh, you are Indian, you are American, you are, more attractive than others. Like that, they see the soul and super soul. I was talking to my Guru Maharaj about a program, and he said, in a nutshell, he said, everyone is a soul and everyone should be given the opportunity to become Krishna conscious. Very from his heart, he said, everyone. So we're talking about, Indian program or local program. And he said, everyone is a soul. Literally on the spot, he said from his heart, I still remember that. He said, everyone is a soul and everyone should be given the opportunity. And rest is all details. Where your body is born, how your body looks, how intelligent you are, it's all details. So that's about the my nature. Now, Krishna conscious, as you correctly said, Mataji, yes, it is multi-layered thing. It's not just one thing. And as we become more aware of Krishna, so in simple terms, you can say being conscious of Krishna all the time. That's what Prabhupada said. What does Krishna conscious mean? In simple terms, being conscious of Krishna. And Radhanath Maharaj explains it further, and he says, when all the situations are there to forget Krishna, you are still conscious about Krishna. Like when you are in your family or in the material world dealing with different things, you tend to forget Krishna. But still, if you are aware of Krishna's presence and you can maintain your sort of devotee nature, that's nice. And that's advancement. So it is a multi-layered word. And the more better you become, the better you understand. Or other way, the better you understand, better you become. Is that okay?
Yeah, so in the journey of being Krishna conscious towards so is it the end or towards the end result that one attains the nature of the Lord?
Yeah, there is no one point where you will say, okay, I am Bhakti Shastri certified. 15th of January. No, I'm just giving an example because we see everything black and white. But you see, a very simple example. When you became mother for the first time, you were not the best mother. You became better mother after that, because you had heard many theories. But then the practical came in your life. You became better. You became better. You became better. And now, even when your kid is sort of breathing, you will know she's having a cold. Just by breathing, a mother can hear everything. So we become better as we are journeying through. We become better. Once Prabhupada was asked, how do you know we are advancing? And the answer of Prabhupada once was, you will know. You will know you're advancing. And that is absolutely true. We become more humble. We become more honest. I really don't have any qualities. And when someone says, oh, Prabhu, you are being very humble. And you ask the devotee's heart is saying, really, I don't have any quality. I don't have any good nature. You feel like that because you know your inner side of it. So you will know. If you're honest, you will know. People may say anything, oh, you're such a senior devotee, great devotee, this and that, but you know in your heart. But that's a sign of humility, which is true. But you know how much dirt is still there to be removed. Initially, there's a lot of dirt, we don't even know about it. But when you become devotee, you start feeling, actually, I'm having anger, I'm having lust, I'm having greed, I'm having attachment for my little petty things. You start feeling that's not a devotee nature. That's not a devotee nature. So it's not wrong. Actually, you are progressing, but you're just analyzing yourself and saying, I don't stand in front of all these great qualities which a devotee is supposed to possess. So that's advancement, at the same time, a vision.
Yeah. So, Prabhu, to understand this, you will attain my nature is like gradually with following in the steps of in our Krishna consciousness, we'll attain our nature, like we'll get our true self, like the true ego.
That's also one meaning. But here what it says to my nature is refers to not your swarupa. It refers to the qualities of Krishna. Which means towards others.
Sure. Thank you.
This doesn't talk about your swarupa in this particular verse.
Okay, sure.
Now your swarupa, for example, I can say Chandravali or Radharani, very different swarupa than Krishna's swarupa. But that's what Krishna likes. That's how they are serving. Like Krishna has a dog in the spiritual world. Now you'll say, dog in the spiritual world? Krishna likes. He's Akhila Samrat Murti. He likes all the rasas. He has a more, he has a parrot, he has a crow, he has a tree, he has a flower, and everything is a living conscious entity. That's how they serve Krishna. So their nature, when we talk about Hanumanji's nature, rather quite different we are talking. But here we are talking my nature, Krishna's nature. Means Krishna's transcendental qualities, devotees also adopt. Again, not as a master, as a servant. Yeah. Like Vishnu Dutas have actually same look as Vishnu. You read in Bhagavatam, same look. But they are not Vishnu. Is it okay? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mata. And Jai Dharma Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, it's
Hare
just a
Krishna.
comment actually.
Yes.
I think I'm one of the previous slokas which we were discussing, the 14th, which says Sarvata Panipadam Tat. I just thought of the Purusha Sukta also glorifies the Lord in the same way.
Yes.
Sahasra Shirshna Purusha Sahasrakshas
Yes.
Sahasrapa,
Yes.
which I think more or less resembles.
Absolutely. And that's why Prabhuji Bhagavad Gita is known as the Sar of the Sar, the summary of the Sarvi. So if you understand Bhagavad Gita well and you apply it, you got the knowledge of all the Vedas, because this is what is explained in the Vedas, and people many times, if not all the times, get lost. And that's why Krishna has given everything in summary form in Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes someone was asking, I think Sankarshan Maharaj was asking a question. He said, why Bhagavan Krishna has given knowledge of Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga? Why not only Bhakti Yoga? And Maharaj explained the same thing, because it's presenting the true definition of Bhagavad Gita. This is what it is supposed to have, isn't it? The summary of summary. Now, the summary doesn't have the whole detail, but it has to have the summary. The product is available. And he's saying he's making sure these products are available, and he's comparing those products and asking you to choose the best project. Right? So Krishna has his own recommendation through Bhagavad Gita, but if you want to choose something else, it's fine. If you want to choose the Gyan Marga, go for it. But it will end up in Bhakti Marga. Krishna has, and that's why Bhagavad Gita, I was listening to a lecture of Keshav Maharaj, and he was saying Bhagavad Gita is the third most widely distributed book in the world. I was surprised actually to hear that. Maharaj said that. The first one is Bible, obviously for obvious reasons. Second is Harry Potter. Somehow Harry Potter is the second most. And third is Bhagavad Gita. That's amazing. He said in the last 45 years, we have distributed 500 million copies of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because of this compact nature of Bhagavad Gita. So it's not just another book. There are hundreds and millions of books outside. It explains the summary of all Vedic literature. So what you said, Prabhuji, is very correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we are very fortunate actually to have this book and then the commentary of Prabhupada. We are very, very fortunate. And on that, actually, I just remembered 13:14 was the verse where Advaita Chaur got stuck. So thank you, Jai Dharma Prabhu. So he got stuck at this verse, 13:14. He couldn't understand how comes Sarvata. And Chaitanya Prabhu explains that the super soul word, this is Prabhupada's mercy. He has directly written for us, which Advaita Char had to intensely pray, and Lord had to give a dream. Prabhupada has just given as it is. And we just don't even bother about these things. There's so much have gone behind the scene in these translations and purports. Okay.
Prabhu, can I just, Sakhi Radhika Mataji's question? I was just remembering that Srimad Bhagavatam verse where it says you attain the qualities of demigod. Yes, yasyasir bhakti akil. I don't remember that full verse, but yes, I think it starts yasyasir bhakti bhagavati akinchana, and it ends with manorathe
Someone
naste
can Google it.
dhavate bahi. So I think it just says if you are if you are praying to the Lord, or if you're doing devotional service to the Lord, then all the qualities of the demigods, you attain all those qualities of the demigods. So does it also kind of line up with what this verse is saying, or what Sakhi Radhika Mataji was referring to?
Yeah, definitely, Mataji. Definitely, Mataji. And Prabhupada said very openly, he said, our movement is to convert crows into swans. We are all like crows. I'm talking about you guys, talking about myself. Prabhupada said, and then elsewhere Prabhupada said, we are making Brahmanas. And Brahmanas, in one sense, actually is higher than demigod. Now, demigods have like a lot of material powers. But Prabhupada also said, A devotee also has all the powers, not of his self, of Krishna, and he just doesn't exhibit. He just doesn't exhibit. So yes, so externally speaking, we do get qualities of demigods, and then actually we exceed. I heard from one lecture, there was an assembly, there's a question and answer session organized in Brahmaloka, and Brahmaji was sitting there, Narad Muni was sitting there, Bhishma Pitama was sitting there. It's a live commentary by a ISKCON sannyasi, so I'm not like touching anything other than this. And they were confused with that question. And in that assembly, this was revealed to some devotee, a very great senior devotee. And they were all confused. And Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj works in this assembly in Brahmaloka, like we have program in Kellyville. Now there's a program in Brahmaloka, honestly. And we have, class by, this and that person, but there's the Brahmaji giving class, Narad Muni. And they got confused. And Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj walks in and he clarifies the query. That's amazing. Radhanath Maharaj explains about His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj when he left this mortal world. So Radhanath Maharaj was explaining. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj would have got a message from Srila Prabhupada to engage him in some other project somewhere else. So Maharaj said, Radhanath Maharaj, Corona and all things, this is all external. This is all external, because devotees, have to have some reason. He said it's all external. He got a message, and then he gave example of Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj. When he was leaving the body, similar thing happened, and he looked at the moon, Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj, and said, "Look at there." He told his disciples, "Look there. There's a need of preachers there." And Radhanath Maharaj related Bhakti Charu Maharaj leaving the body and Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj leaving the body. So it's quite deep. It's quite deep. The whole universe is actually having these sort of Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Bhagavatam classes, because devotees aspire for this in Brahmaloka, in Chandraloka, everywhere this is happening. We are extremely fortunate to have this devotee association, which sometimes we find very difficult. I don't know how to explain this. So we should literally take this devotee association very, very seriously, as much as possible, and value it. And the result is amazing. It's higher than demigods. Demigods get stuck with the question and answer. Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj walks in there, satisfies the query, and they're all like, "Thank you, Maharaj." Thank you, Maharaj. Okay, let's move forward. We are also talking like Gyanis. Okay, so let's start the next section, which is 13:20. Gaur Gopal sitting on my side and working on his 4th book of Bhagavad Gita, writing some verses, which he will explain after this class. Okay, so let's start 13:20. Who will want to go? Manmohan Prabhuji, you're home now. Sorry, I didn't ask any question. I could see you in the car, so.
Thank you, Prabhu.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I went to Cessnock, just came back.
Haribol, Jai. Very nice. Very nice.
Prakratim Purusham Chaiva
Prakatim Purusham Chaiva
Vidhi Anadvayapi
Vidyanadi Bhavapi
Vikarashcham Gunaschaiva
Vikaransha Gunashaiva
Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan.
Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan.
Translation: Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So as we are looking here, this is the Prakriti, Purusha and their union. So this theme you will see in next 6 to 7 verses. Prakriti, Purusham. So this is quite clear. Prakriti. Now what it is, Krishna is not explaining yet, and he will explain as we go. And again, it's a very summarized form, because there's only 6 verses. How can you explain everything? But Krishna has given very beautiful points for these. So let's read as we go. Prakriti, Purusham. Cha Eva. So Cha is and. So Prakriti and Purusha. Vidhi. Vidhi means, everyone knows Vidhi by now. Vidhi, Ved, all is to knowledge, to know. Anadi. So that's the point here. They are all Anadi. Ubhav. Ubhav is used for 2 entities. For 2. Ubhav. Api. So they both are Anadi. I'll talk about it in a second. Vikaranscha gunam shaiva. So vikar. Vikar is also used in Hindi sometimes, known as transformation. Vikar is transformation. Gunams, that's the modes of material nature. Vidhi, again, know them. Prakriti Sambhavan, they are done by Prakriti. So basically what this verse is saying, Prakriti and Purusha both are Anadi, they are beginningless. Why they are beginningless? So Purusha, now here Purusha refers to not super soul or Vishnu or anything like that. Here Purusha refers to the living entity, because this is what the section is. Now, sometime you will see Purusha. Purusha again has many meanings. Purusha refers to Lord Vishnu. Sometimes Purusha refers to living entity. Now, why it refers to living entity? Because we all have Purusha Bhav. Purusha Bhav means even the sort of female bodied ones, they have Purusha Bhav means enjoying mentality. We'll talk about that after a few verses. So Prakriti is Prakriti, material nature. They are all Anadi. Now you can say Prakriti is temporary. Not really. So the forms of the Prakriti means, suppose a building is there, a road is there, a city is there. That city, building, all these things are temporary. But Prakriti, material nature itself is permanent. So spiritual nature is permanent. Prakriti is always permanent. But the forms within Prakriti, they keep changing. So here we are talking about the Prakriti, not the forms, not the forms within it. What does forms refers to? Vikar. Vikar means transformation. A simple example can be given from the sand, mitti. You can make a brick, and from that brick you can make a beautiful building. So the beautiful building is called a vikar of the mitti. Makes sense? The cement is also a vikar. So you make, or you can take in cooking as well. You take gehu ka aata, I don't know, maide ka, and you make a beautiful cake. When you look at the cake, oh, it's so beautiful. It has cream, it has some strawberries and blueberries and blackberries and whatnot. But what is it made up of? Actually, it's atta. Atta and maybe some milk product, something like that. So this is called vikar. You make a beautiful paratha, some lacha paratha or paratdar paratha. Sorry, I'm referring to the people who are sleepy. So food will awake them. Lacha paratha, I'm not sure who makes lacha paratha. I don't. Don't ask me, but I have eaten. So all this is a vikar of the gehu, isn't it? So gehu is crushed into atta, and atta is made into that beautiful paratha or puri or kachori, whatever it is. This is all called vikar. So how does the vikar happen? Gunamsha. Gunamsha is modes of material nature. There's an interaction between modes of material nature and something gets produced. So they are basically coming from Prakriti, material nature. So I'll just repeat again. So there's a Prakriti and there's a Purusha. They're both Anadi, like soul is permanent, like Anadi, beginningless. We cannot say, I'm sorry, Rupam Prabhu. So body will have a DOB, but soul doesn't have a DOB. This body will have a DOB, 30 years ago or whatever, or maybe 20. He still look quite young. So the body has DOB. His soul doesn't have DOB. None of the souls have DOB. Prakriti. How long this Prakriti has been there? Anadi, beginningless. And within that, what's happening? Vikar. Everything else, actually, what we see from the eyes, it's a vikar. Vikar means transformation of different ingredients. So ingredients itself, like your body, my body, everyone's body is made up of only 5 elements, right? If you put those 5 elements in a jar, would you like to see them? No, but when they put them together, oh, this person is so beautiful. It's very attractive, All this male-female attraction going on, this packaging, all this packaging, which you all get attracted towards. But that's why a Jnani sees they're all the same ingredients being put together. Gauranga Prabhu says there's a Pancha Tattva in the kitchen. So he says there's tomato. I can't remember exactly, but there's atta. And with these Pancha Tattva, you can make anything. So you were just giving the analogy of the body. So with the Pancha Tattva, you can make a white body, black body, green body, American body. All these are there. But the Tattva of that is exactly same. So a Jnani understands and does not get attracted to the form. He goes beyond the form. Now, we don't have that vision as yet. We are talking about it. We don't have that realization. But once we have it, then we are not attracted to the form. We are attracted to the substance behind the form, which is soul and super soul. We are compassionate for that soul. One example which comes to my mind, one Prabhupada disciple with Prabhupada was traveling in an aeroplane. So in the aeroplane, there was one air hostess. She was very beautiful. So this disciple was looking at this air hostess. And Prabhupada sort of saw him looking at this lady. And for a few seconds, he was staring at this Mataji. And Prabhupada saw it. And then he realized my spiritual master is looking at me. I'm looking at this lady. Imagine how embarrassing it would be, huh? So he realized that Prabhupada said, "Isn't she beautiful?" And he was like, "Prabhupada." And then he said again, "Isn't she beautiful?" And he's like, put his eyes down, head down. And then Prabhupada said a very nice statement. He said, "If the spark is so beautiful, imagine the source of the spark will be so beautiful." Huh? So Prabhupada did not chastise him, just an analogy was given there. Huh? So we are attracted to these sparks, huh? Which so-called in our eyes are very beautiful, very attractive, but we are not able to see beyond it. Huh? But a person like Prabhupada, realized devotee, they can see, and we are also aspiring to be there one day. Okay.
Prabhupada empathize. I heard it in the empathy. This is true empathy. Prabhuji, what is his name?
Amrendra Prabhu.
Amrendra Prabhu, yeah, he was telling.
In his lecture, yeah.
I heard from Gauranga Prabhu. Anyway, it's an incident which many devotees quote, but it's very sort of, Prabhupada did not chastise this. All he said, a big message. Huh? You are attracted towards the spark, which is a message for all of us. Go beyond it. And Krishna is supremely attractive. Huh? He's the source of it. Okay, 1321.
So, just a quick question.
Sorry.
Can you explain that how does the vikar happens in context of gunas?
So, Prabhu, this is what we're going to read in 14th chapter. We'll talk about it. How does vikar happen? This is quite a detailed topic, Prabhu. But interaction of modes of material nature. So, which mode you are in? We'll talk about it. But in summary, Prabhuji, I can say you can see a male, female, for example, sitting together. You can see in a different way than when I see and when a third person sees, right? We can see one scene in three different perspectives. Same scene. Huh? So, similarly, the gunas impact different people differently, because you yourself, suppose you are in Satoguna, you are a devotee of the Lord, you'll not see, you'll see, like Shukdev Goswami, looking at the female, he has no sort of distinguishing between is a female and a male. And female also understands, and we see this pastime in first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Shukdev Goswami is passing by. They don't start wearing clothes when they see Shukdev Goswami, who is externally only 16-year-old. When Vyasadev comes, they start coming out of the water and wearing the clothes. And Vyasadev said, "He's a young boy, you're a young lady. I'm like your grandfather's age, and you're wearing clothes." And what was the answer? Your eyes distinguish between male and female. Shukdev Goswami's eyes does not. Same scene got interpreted differently. Huh? So why does it matter? Because the person who is seeing it is in a different mode. Narad Muni, when he saw Nal Kuber and Manigriv, who were sort of naked and enjoying with other women, Narad Muni did not got attracted. When Ajamil saw a Shudra and Shudrani, he got attracted. Now, same scene, both saw. One Rishi saw, one a Purusha saw. This Purusha Jamil, he was completely finished from that day onwards. But Narad Muni not only finished, forget about finishing Narad Muni, but he uplifted Nal Kuber and Manigriva. So this is called the interaction of modes of material nature. And we can't just say in one word, the scene is not attractive. It's the person who is seeing the scene is attractive or not attracted. So this is called the interaction of modes of material nature, vikar. Vikar also will differ from person to person's eyes. How you see a person may differ to how I see a person. Is that okay, Paul?
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the details are coming soon in the next chapter.
Sure.
That is why they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Hari bol, Hari bol. Absolutely, absolutely. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Prabhupada will see scenes so differently than what we see. My Guru Maharaj gave a lecture on Prabhupada, and I will not start that here, but beautifully explained how Prabhupada could see everywhere Krishna, everywhere. Where disciples of Prabhupada, they will just not able to see Krishna. Prabhupada could see Krishna at airport, at ship, in water, at beach. Prabhupada could see Krishna everywhere. He could relate everything with Krishna. Even he's looking at truck. He's looking at Krishna actually. How can I use this truck for Krishna Seva? And the first Rath Yatra was organized. Like Prabhupada was looking from a window And everyone thought, it's a high-rise building, Prabhupada. हम लोग India में, you stand on your balcony, just look at the cars and trucks and scenery and all that. So people thought, Prabhupada is also looking out. So one disciple curiously asked, what are you looking, Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, I'm looking at the truck. And he thought, this Indian gentleman looking at the big truck of America. But that gentleman was not a normal gentleman. And he said, I'm looking at this truck and I think we can use this truck for Jagannath's first Rath Yatra. And the truck was used. Los Angeles first Rath Yatra. So the whole lecture is a beautiful lecture Manjula Maharaj gave, like 2 hours lecture. Everywhere he could see Prabhupada in every situation. Super amazing, super amazing. I'm reading, I'm sort of telling you guys as well. Still I'm not able to see. I have to force myself. No, there must be some Krishna's hand in this incident. It's all right. It's all right. I have to force myself. And sometimes I get that and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Otherwise, you just see the front and then your mind get agitated. Not good. So you remember Prabhupada or you read about Prabhupada, then you get little extra step in your inner journey. It's all right. It's Krishna's hand. It's Krishna's hand. Shringi Karsing Parikshit is not complaining. This little boy, 13-year-old boy, giving me curse, you know who I am? And Parikshit was powerful. He was extremely powerful. Materially, spiritually, he could curse back Shringi. He could save himself from Tattva. He could pray to Krishna. It is the hand of Krishna. It is the hand of Krishna. That's called vision. That's called vision. Beholder of the eye, beholder of the beauty. Yeah. So it's definitely, in our eyes, everything exists, nothing outside. Okay, let's move to this 13:21. 13:21 and 22 are very, very important verses. As per our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, 13:22 especially is called Bijavakya of Gyan Yoga. And I'll explain that why. Madhuri Mataji already aware of that. Yes, Rupam Prabhuji or something.
It's a verse to remember for our module 3 exam.
Hare Krishna. When you see Rupam Prabhu smile, you know something coming up. 21, 22 both, Prabhu, or just 21?
23 and 22. 22, 23.
22 is a Bija Vakya, so it should be there. Thank you. Okay, 13:21. Who will read? Who hasn't read as yet? Ravi Mataji. Mohit Prabhuji. Okay.
A little.
Yes, Prabhu. Mohit Prabhu को कौन मना कर सकता है? We don't have power to say no to Mohit Prabhuji.
Okay, Krishna. कार्य करना कर्तृत्व
कार्य कारण कर्तृत्वे
हेतु प्रकृति उच्यते
हेतु प्रकृतिर उच्यते
पुरुषः सुख दुःखानां
पुरुषः सुख दुःखानां
भोक्तृत्व हेतुरुच्यते
भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते.
Translation. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various suffering and enjoyments in the world. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. So, Karya Karan. Now, again, Karya Karan can have multiple meanings. We look at Prabhupada's translation. So, Karya, he's translating as effect, and Karan is the cause, which we also know. Huh? So, Karya, effect and cause. So, Karya Karan refers to effect and cause. Kritratve in the matter of creation. Hetu. Hetu means, again, what's the business here? Hetu means business. Prakriti Uchate. So Prakriti is obviously the material nature. Uchate, it is said to be. So nature, Prakriti, is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects. Just pause here. So what is this? It's talking about cause and effect. You see in the material nature, everything works on cause and effect. Now, if you have a nice plate of prasadam, that's the effect. What's the cause? Mataji has been working in the kitchen for 3 hours and has made so many nice dishes. Sorry, I'm talking about food. Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj said, Krishna Prasad is such a thing. When you give mala to someone, they start sleeping. But when you give prasadam to someone, their eyes get widely opened. So he said, Krishna in the form of prasadam works the best. We all, I think, can agree with that statement. We may have philosophical disagreements, but prasadam disagreements, unless Manmohan Prabhu strictly says, Prabhu, no sugar anymore. Bude ho gaye ho. Diabetes ho jayega, something like that. But we all love prasadam. So cause and effect, the whole nature. There's a tree right in front of my house. So this is an effect of a seed. We can say that. But tree itself is an cause for another effect, isn't it? Because a tree supplies so many fruits or flowers or oxygen, blah, blah, blah. So in the Prakriti, if you see, everything is cause and effect. You are the effect, effect of your parents, but you are the cause of your children. You can say that, a little linkage there. So everyone, everything around it. There's a wall behind some devotees. Wall is the effect of someone has built that building. But can also be the cause of your hurt. You fall on the wall and you hit your head, and that can, यही कारण है, इसी से मुझे चोट लगी. You see in Hindi films sometimes they break something. This was the cause. No, so everything is cause and effect. But what is saying? Nature is said to be the cause and effect, whereas Purusha Sukha Dukkhana, Purusha refers to again living entity, previous verse as well. Sukha Dukkhana, the feeling of Sukha and Dukha, happiness and distress. Hetu Ruchate Bhoktratve. Bhoktratve means enjoying mentality. So because Purusha has the feeling of Sukha and Dukha, and what's the cause of that? Bhoktratve. Now, in putting a simple terms here, if you are passing by from a road, you are going from Delhi to Vrindavan, for example, or Calcutta to Mayapur. On the road, while you are traveling, on the side, you see a dead body, for example. You don't know this person, and there may be few people around it, and you just pass by. Do you really bother? Maybe you will chant Hare Krishna mantra and all that, right? But you don't bother, you don't stop. Is it right or wrong, right? Now imagine in your car, if your son or daughter sitting and they have little fever, and you'll say, Prabhuji, stop the car. Is there a doctor close by? Can I go and show to this doctor? My child is having fever. Will we do that? Or child having a stomach ache or something? Now, a person is dead right in front of your eyes and you don't bother, which is again common. But your child is having a headache or a stomach ache. You will stop the car and you'll find the solution. Try to find the solution as best as possible, right? Why is that? The feeling which this verse is saying, Bhoktratve. You relate with the person in your car, but you don't relate with the person in another car. So the incident doesn't matter actually. Incident doesn't matter. You've seen Dainik Jagran. I'm from North India, so there is a newspaper called Dainik Jagran. Anyway, Shraddha Mataji as well. Lucknow, Kanpur. So in Dainik Jagran, you'll see 40 लोगों की मृत्यु हो गई. 40 people died in an accident. Do you really bother too much? There's a small article in the newspaper. But when your mother or father or daughter, have a small problem, you are in big tension, big trouble. Why? You are identifying with those bodies, but the other bodies you don't identify. You may have compassion in your heart. You can pray for them. So whatever happens, that's not the cause of your sukha and dukha, is it? Otherwise, if you see a dead person, you should stop and cry and do the fasting for 13 days and do all those things. You don't do that. You only do it for few people. So this is called bhoktratve. It's just one incident I'm saying. In every situation you can apply. So because of this enjoying mentality, you feel sukha or dukkha. But whatever is happening around you, it is the cause and effect done by the nature. So do we understand the gist of the verse? Basically, why we are feeling sukha and dukkha? Bhoktratve. So it's not the incident which causes sukha and dukkha, our identification or misidentification or unidentification with the incident, which makes us feel sukha or dukkha. If your favorite hero is beating the villain in the movie, you feel sukha. If, sorry, I can say, India is beating Pakistan, chakke pe chakka. Yeah, Sachin, ek aur chakka. Sachin put another 6, Or in these days, I don't know. Virat Kohli? I don't know.
Sachin retired 10 years ago, bro.
10 years ago, retired 10 years ago. So I don't know any other name. I'm sorry. My GK is very, very current. Anyway, whoever. So when India is winning, everyone's like, yeah, India, India, India. And suppose Pakistanis are winning, what you'll say? Arey yaar, $100 I paid for this ticket to come to SCG. I wasted my money. I knew they all best players. All the sukha.
वो आने वाला है इंडिया पाकिस्तान अक्टूबर में.
Sorry, I didn't know about it. Don't quote me. I have no idea what's happening in this cricket world. But now I know. I'll quote somewhere. So you understand? So if this country wins or that country wins, in one sense, Zimbabwe and Australia are playing, you probably don't care. Probably Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. You don't care who wins. But India wins, maza aa gaya, paisa vasool ho gaya ticket ka. But if the other team wins, which you don't like probably, and I'm not saying you should not, but I'm just saying just in case, generally. So, Sukha and Dukkha. Why? Bhoktratve. No? Bhoktratve. Through these examples, you can understand what this verse is saying. Bhoktratve. Now we come to the Bij Vakya. And we relate 1321 to 1322. Who will read this very important verse?
I'll read, Prabhu.
Yes, Mata, please.
Purusha prakristho hi
Purusha prakrtistho hi
bhungte prakritijan gunan
bhungte prakrtijan gunan
karanam guna sangosya
karanam guna sangosya
sad asadyoni janmasu.
tad asad yoni janmasu.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil amongst various species.
Thank you, Mataji. So Purusha, again, living entity, which you're talking in all the verses, you can see this word Purusha is used 20, 21, 22. Prakriti stohi. So istha means situated. We have sthan, sthiti, tisthati, visthati. So all these things are there. So Prakriti stohi. So Purusha is residing where? Prakriti. So Prabhupada writes the living entity in the material nature. Bhungte. What was the word in the previous verse? Bhoktratve. Similar word, right? Bhoktratve, bhungte. Bhungte again is the enjoyment. Bhogne ki bhavana. Anyone remembers a similar verse in Bhagavad Gita where the similar word is used? Everyone knows that one.
Bhoktaram Yajna Tapas.
Thank you.
Sir.
What's the number? 529.
5.
Fine. Last verse. No? Bhoktaram Tapsam. So who is the Bhokta? Actual Bhokta? Krishna is the Bhokta, but what we feel, we are the Bhokta, and that's where the incompatibility is. So Purusha, when situated in the Prakriti, Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunan, Bhogna Chayata, he wants to enjoy what? Prakriti Jan Gunan, the interaction, the product which is being produced by the interaction of material modes of material nature. You go somewhere and there's nice gajar ka halwa, there's nice burger, suppose prasadam. Will you get attracted? Why not? If my doctor allows me, why not? Huh? Go for it. Huh? As many as you like. So, bhungte prakriti janam, because I had this enjoying mentality. Now, our acharyas explain we should honor prasadam, not eat prasadam. What's the difference? Anyone can say? मुंह में ही तो जाएगा, पेट में ही तो जाएगा. Don't eat prasad, honor prasad. What's the difference? Why do they say like that?
Mahaprasade Govinde.
Mahaprasade Govinda. Our devotees is like full devotee. But why do they say, Mataji? Honor prasadam, don't eat prasad. Eating is for your tongue. I like this gajar ka halwa. I like this pizza, burger. I'm talking about prasad here. Honoring means Krishna has tasted it. Now, if there is no salt, Krishna has tasted the dal somehow or other. I'm saying cook forgot to put the dal. Now he'll say, Mataji or Prabhuji, can I have little salt? Huh? You're not allowed actually. Why? Krishna has just tasted this dal. Just tasted this dal. So this is as tasty as an amrit. Now we are looking at each other. Next time if you ask the salt, I will play this recording. Huh? No, we are very, very low people. Bharat Maharaj could do it, and he could eat the burnt rice. It's written in the Bhagavatam. His brothers were offering him burnt rice, and he was tasting those burnt rice as Mahaprasad, as Amrit. Can we do that? We can't. Huh? But the point here is technically Krishna has tasted that same burnt rice or uncooked pizza or uncooked kheer. We are technically supposed to honor. Honor means this is Krishna.
It's mercy.
Huh?
It's a mercy, isn't it?
It's mercy of Krishna. Now you don't see the taste there. यार मिर्चा थोड़ा और होता तो अच्छा लगता है. Can you have some chili powder, chili flakes? Some people like that. So you understand the point here? Prakriti Jan Gunan. So whatever comes out of it, we want to enjoy. Karanam gun sangosi. So karan again is refers to cause, karan and cause and effect. Gun sangosi. So what's the karan? Actually, the karan behind it is just modes of material nature. Mataji's or Prabhuji's have put 5 ingredients together, and that has produced as a sabji, nice vegetable. Now, what's the result of that bhoktartve, the feeling of enjoying mentality? In the previous verse, what was the result of bhoktartve? Sukha and dukha, right? Sukha and dukha. Now, sukha and dukha are temporary. Suppose you sit in a nice chair, nice massage chair, First time, at least, when I sat on this massage chair for the first time, I felt very good actually. That vibration goes through your back and your knees and all that. It's very nice feeling. Now, second and third time, it becomes very normal. Huh? You feel good. Sukha and dukkha. So you feel some sukha. And the electricity goes, you feel dukkha. But bhoktratve does not just lead to sukha and dukkha, which is talking about the incidents, also lead to sad asad yoni janmusu. You understand? That sukha and dukkha lead to the sad. Sad means you can say demigod yoni, or asad refers to animal yoni. For example, higher or lower species itself. So if you have a feeling of bhoktratve or bhunte, similar thing, what it will lead to, not only sukha and dukkha, so instantly sukha and dukkha, but in future, what will happen? Sad asad yoni janmishu. And this is the reason we are all going around in this world again and again. We are having sometimes sad yoni means higher yoni. You may take birth in a Bill Gates family. I know Bill Gates is not number one anymore. I don't know who's next number one. Whoever, some Tata, Birla, or whoever like that. Huh? So again, not that they don't have problems, saying in general, you feel like if you are in a rich family, sad yoni. If you are a poor family, asad yoni. If you are in an animal yoni, asad yoni. If you are in demigod yoni, sad yoni. What is the reason behind it? Bhunte. Now, what is the result of that? It says, this is considered, as I said, a bija vakya. So the bij is what? If I have to say in one word, what is the bij? What's the seed of your or mine existence in the material world? Bhunte. Can we lock it down to one word? Is bhunte. Because of bhunte, bhoktate, what happens? You feel sukh dukkha in some incidents, right? Some incidents, sukh dukkha. And later on, what happens? Sad asad yoni. Anyone can remember a similar verse in Bhagavad Gita where this same concept is talked about? Sad asad yoni. Everyone knows that verse. I'll say, pata tha. 522, yehi sansparsha bhoga dukkha yone evate adyantavanta kaunteya nate shuramte buddhaha. So buddha, a buddhiman, a wise person, does not delight in the enjoyment which has a beginning and end. So sometimes we get attracted to say a movie or a cloth or a dress or a car or a person, whatever. They all have a beginning and they have an end. They will give some sukha to our taste senses, eye senses, some nice music or some touch senses. I touch a sofa or a chair, I feel, so nice, so soft. I want to sit there, something like that. They can give, but they have a beginning and they have an end. So a wise person does not delight in these sorts of sense gratification. They delight in machita madgata pranam bodhyanta parasparam kathiyanta shamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. They delight in that sense. We also do sense gratification actually here. We do a much deeper level sense gratification, which pleases Krishna as well as our heart. So we understand this verse. So this is the bija. Now bija to grow, what does it need? Water. So it says water is the modes of material nature, which is talked about in the 14th chapter. Now, if you water a seed, a tree will come. And the tree is spoken in which chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Everyone can say. Purushottam Mas?
15th.
15th chapter.
Thank you. So 15th chapter talk about the tree. 16th chapter, what's the name of 16th chapter? Divine and the demonians. Talks about the top of the tree and the bottom of the tree. One are divine, one are demoniac. Not everyone is divine, not everyone is fully demoniac, not fully divine. So 17th chapter talks about the people in between. That's why the interaction of three modes of material nature also presented in 17th chapter. And the 18th chapter talks about all the summary and the conclusion of this discussion. So that's why this 1322 is considered as Bij Vakya, because this is the Bij. Now, if the Bij wasn't there, no matter how much water you do on the mud, will the tree come? No, there's no seed in there. So modes of material nature will not act on you if you don't have the feeling of bhukti or bhoktatve. Make sense? Now, Prabhupada can also be in the material world. I can also be in the material world. But Prabhupada is completely liberated. He doesn't have that bhukti. I have bhukti. So it's not the material world causing me trouble. What's causing me trouble is the feeling of bhoktratve, bhukti. That's why this is called Bija Vakya. So we understand. So 13th chapter is the Bija, 1322. 14th chapter is water, modes of material nature. And with the water, what comes out? Tree, which is 15th chapter. 16th chapter is divine and the demonic, the top and the bottom of the tree. So the top and bottom there is upside down. The bottom is the top. Bottom is the top, and the top is the bottom. We'll read about that upside down tree when we reach to 15th chapter. And 17th chapter talks about those who are not completely divine, not completely demoniac. And 18th chapter talks about the summary of this and the conclusion of that, which we'll talk towards the end of the 18th chapter. Okay, so please remember this verse. Rupam Prabhu has also certified it through MIHE. Now 1323. Now so far we're talking about the Purusha as a living entity. Now we're talking about the second Purusha. Who's the second Purusha in us? Second Kshetraga in us, the super soul. Now this is the first verse in Bhagavad Gita which talks about the job description of super soul. We'll see why. First verse in Bhagavad Gita. Let's see. Who wants to read?
Prabhu, I have a question on the verse we discussed.
Oh, Mataji, please.
So, Bhumte, this sense of enjoyment is the cause of all our misery.
Yes, Mataji.
And that's been repeatedly said everywhere.
Yes.
But then, if there is no sense gratification in life, even little bit, why live? What do we look forward to? I mean, you can't always be.
Yeah. So you don't have to. You're right, Mother. But no, we are not saying don't do sense gratification. And as I said, we are doing the highest sense gratification. We eat the best pizza, best prasad, but Krishna prasad. We see the best things in the world. Krishna deity, Krishna's devotees, sannyasis. You look at Bhakti Charumar, I'm just saying one example, and many more. You feel a satisfaction in your eyes. You look at a beautiful picture, Michael Jackson or something, they don't give satisfaction to you. Maybe a temporary satisfaction. You go to some young students' room, you'll see a big picture of Michael Jackson or what do you call that, Bruce Lee, something like that. They are their role models. But after a year, you go in their same room, there will be a different role model. But you'll have your Guru Maharaj picture or Sri Ram picture or Laddu Gopal picture. Since your birth, your mother may have given, my father gave me one picture, I still have it. 40 years later, I still have it. I love it. So we are not saying don't do sense. Your nature is to find sukha. You are finding sukha. There's no one stopping you to find sukha. All the philosophy is telling you find sukha at the right place, with the right object, with the right sukha experience. Don't go in the wrong direction. A person who takes alcohol or drugs, they also feel sukha. Aparam Prabhu was saying, people enjoying, male-female attraction, they are feeling sukha. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But that's very low level of sukha. So yes, we are allowed to do sense gratification. There is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which I don't remember completely, but it says when we are satisfying senses of Krishna, it's called prem. When we are satisfying our own senses, it's called kam, lust. Krishna Indriya, Priti Vancha, Dhare, Prem Naam, something like that it is. And Swa Ichha, when we do our sense gratification, it's called lust, kam. Mata is not satisfied.
Yeah, it's all good. Theoretically, I understand all of that. It's just in practical life.
Practical things can happen, Mataji.
We are, again, speaking for myself, I'm very human, and I'm not saying, actually sense gratification has a very derogatory connotation. What I'm trying to say is that you're living in this world and you need to be happy. You're attached to people, you're attached to certain things, and that attachment also leads to a lot of misery. The expectation from the attachment leads to immense misery.
And the more the attachment, the more the misery.
Yeah, it's just directly proportional. So I was talking from that perspective. So if we have nothing to look forward to, life becomes just dull, and you cannot at least a person like me cannot survive solely on Krishna consciousness. That's what I meant.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Mataji. So we all in the same boat. We all have our attachments. We are having some emotions, but slowly we are trying to understand these things, incidents in our life through the philosophy, so that we can seek shelter in Krishna rather than in those attachments where we seek shelter. Like a father is very attached to the son. If the son does something which a father doesn't like, he gets completely shattered. But that's where the philosophy takes over and sort of helps us. I'm not the controller. I'm not the origin of this son or daughter or this is in my life. Prabhupada asked his wife, tea or me? And what the Prabhupada's wife said, tea. Now, we're talking a wife of a Vedic culture. Just imagine, I'm talking materially speaking, what would Prabhupada would have felt? He worked on a Bhagavad Gita commentary for 10 years and she sold it for tea biscuits. Imagine what would be our mindset. Just be honest. And I don't want you to explain it. The whole class will go in that. But the point is, we'll be quite upset. We'll be quite upset. Prabhupada said, that's fine. It's Krishna's arrangement. Krishna's arrangement. So this is where philosophy will help us in our life to not get completely bogged up with those incidents. Again, as I said, we are all humans. We have attachments. But we seek shelter, we see hands of Krishna in those incidents. And slowly, when we are more purified, we will be able to see Krishna's hands more clearly. And we will be able to, grow through, as Gaur Gopal Prabhu said, not go through, we will grow through those incidents in our life.
Yeah, I just keep thinking of eating Lauki ki sabzi 3 meals a day, 365 days. So it's
And that's why we have so many nice cooks in Hare Krishna temple. And I understand you are saying from life's perspective, not a Lauki sabzi. But
yeah. It's like eating Lauki ki sabzi 24/7.
Yeah.
So
But it's our feeling. Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Instruction, which we are going to read very soon, in 8th verse, we have philia, we have jaundice. Because of jaundice, we are not able to feel the ganne ka ras, sugarcane taste. Sugarcane is very tasty, so we cannot say this Krishna consciousness is Lauki ka sabji. Actually, it has a taste of the best sabjis. We don't taste it. It doesn't have taste. And again, I'm exactly the same. I have the worst jaundice, you can say. But the point is, this has a taste, and I believe that. I don't taste it because I have jaundice. So slowly, when our jaundice is getting removed from our body, we will be able to taste this same Lauki ka sabji in a beautiful palak paneer ka sabji, in a nice pizza and lasagna and whatnot. Coconut ka. I went to some program. Mataji made this coconut homemade ice cream. It was one of the best ice creams. Devotees are so nice and wonderful. So Mataji and Prabhuji and Hemanga Chaitanya, everyone, just hang on to this movement, hang on to our spiritual masters and devotee association. We will be able to see Krishna's hand. My Guru Maharaj was asked, this was told by Bhakti Rasayan Maharaj in a class about my Guru Maharaj, and he was asked, His Holiness Kadam Karan, have you seen Krishna? And my Guru Maharaj's response was, I have not seen Krishna, but I see Krishna's hand all the time. I see Krishna's hand all the time. Now, how many of us can say that? We just see the incident. We don't see the hand of Krishna behind it. But this is what the journey is about. We are trying to see. We're not trying to change the world. No one will change because I expect a person to be in a certain way. No one is bothered. No one is obliged to change his or her behavior as per my desire. Why? Everyone is an independent soul. But what we can change, our perception of the incident. And this is what we are trying to learn. Calamities will come, incidents will come, but our perception we can change. And this is what we are praying to Krishna. We're not trying to change. Hiranyakashipu should not exist. They always existed. Ravan will always exist. Hiranyakashipu will exist. But we want to become or a follower of Prahlad Maharaj. Perception. Prahlad never ever had a small ill feeling toward Hiranyakashipu. So this is the whole journey is about. Okay, I hope it helps. But again, it's theoretical. I'm accepting it, and I'm in the same boat, Mataji. Hopefully, by all of your mercy, I will get the taste, and I will be able to see Krishna's hand in those incidents rather than seeing the incident as it is. One day, it will happen. Okay, Madhuri Mataji, Vijay Gopi Mataji. Madhuri Mataji, please. Madhuri Mataji, you are on mute. Now your Atma is speaking, but I'm not at that level as yet. Not able to hear. You are still on mute.
Sorry, Prabhu.
No problem, Mata.
Okay.
You're on in ecstasy, I know. You live in a spiritual world.
No, so much I'm thinking, like going on, like on the same thing what Charu Mataji is saying. Definitely Charu Mataji is way ahead. But again, these attachments, we can try to convert that into, like, if we have attachment to our children, that is not wrong, because even Arjuna cried when Abhimanyu is died in the war, and then Krishna also felt sad for that one, and that is very natural maybe. But again, but if we are able to make our children, I'm just asking, is how we can come over, I'm not saying the solution because I'm nowhere, but I'm just saying, like, if we are able to bring up our children as a devotion, as a devotees, then our affection or our attachment towards children also becomes Krishna conscious. Is that right, Prabhu? Thinking that way, that is one question I have. And
Very-
another one is,
Okay.
as Mataji said about Lauki Sabri, and then you said no, keep stick to it, then you will eventually get the test. Okay, even we are sticking to it, and slowly we are thinking like, yeah, we are getting the taste, yes, this is good, like that again. But our immediate family, or peer friends or someone, they pull us down. If something, if we say that, okay, my son is not getting good results, if they say that, oh, how will he get, you are always engaged there, you are not taking care of your children, I mean, that is their perspective. But with their words or with peer pressure and all, we are again getting us back. So I know devotee association helps, and classes and studying and all helps, but sticking to it is also a challenge. So I'm just putting that in the forum. I'm not giving any solution or just
I'll just
anything
quickly
to
answer
comment,
the
Prabhu.
first one, Mataji. If we can make our children's devotee children. Mata, it's a big statement. It's extremely big statement. And although we make it, it's very difficult. No one can control anyone's destiny. Which children, which soul are in your family. And I'm being very honest, and it's a request to everyone. We should not judge anyone, any situation, because we may misjudge. We don't know, see, in the house of Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad appeared, right? So can we say Hiranyakashipu was training? So when we train and if they become devotee, I'm just saying we should not feel proud, because it's just Krishna's arrangement. Our attempts are very, very weak, very, very weak. First thing, you do your duty. That's the only thing you can do. You cannot change any soul's desires and the independence and the journey which they have to experience. First thing. So very big a statement to make. If we can make our kids a devotee kids, very, very big a statement. If we can believe in a part of it from our side, you are success. Even if our son become terrorist or Hiranyakashipu, it doesn't matter. You are success in Krishna's eyes. That's first thing. So the lesson is, you do your part. We are not the controller of anyone, but we are attached. We have to accept it, and then we leave it to Krishna's hand. You do your best, leave the rest. Short answer is there. We are all individual souls, and that's why we have to read this philosophy again and again. Your second question, Mataji, was
like, stick to it, and then you will eventually
So
feel
it's
the
a
taste.
simple example. Rupa Goswami gives, how strong is your tree? Now, if you have a fragile plant like this size, anyone can trample over it. But if you have a bhakti like banyan tree, can I trample it over? No. So when you're saying peer pressure pulls us down, depends how strong your plant is. You make your plant strong. How come this little mice and rats can shake your plant? How come? Who can shake your plant? Huh? And again, we're not being proud here. We are under the shelter of Prabhupada and Krishna. Our pride is Krishna. Our pride is not our Shakti. Huh? So you be under the shelter of Krishna and Prabhupada. Make your tree very strong as per their guidance and instructions. No one in the world will be able to shake it. And if it gets shaken, it's not their fault, it's our fault. Our tree was very, very fragile. Our tree was. So make our tree very, very strong. And how do we make the tree strong? Shastra Chakshu. My Guru Maharaj said this one word many times. Shastra Chakshu. Look at the world through the eyes of Shastra, not as it is. Now, it's a very big statement, but if you do that, no one can shake you up. No one can shake you up. Again, remember, we are all individual souls. We have our own individual journey. If we die without devotion or with devotion. No one else will come with us. So, bottom line, do what you best can do as per guidance of your senior acharyas. And who becomes devotee, who doesn't become a devotee, is none of our business. None of our business. And based on that, forget others. Even we should not judge ourselves. I failed as a parent. I failed as a friend or whatever. No.
Mm.
Prabhupada never say I failed as a spiritual master because 3 of my disciples left me. No. Prabhupada was always successful, always successful.
Yeah.
What Prabhupada had given to them will be with them even in future. Externally, they would have left Prabhupada. So I think simple, just be selfish here and make yourself strong. And again, if you are doing services as per your spiritual master's instruction, you'll never be proud and you'll always go forward and you'll take others forward as well. No one can shake it. And protect
Yeah.
protect your plant. Protect your plant. I'm not saying no one can shake in the initial. Protect your plant. And our boundary is Shastra. If you are in the boundary of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, who can enter? Who can enter? Suppose you have a small child, Mataji, 3-year-old. I'm just saying an example, right? You'll always be keeping your eye on, even if he's running the car park, your eyes, mother, one eye will always be in the child, another eye may be in garland or whatever, right?
Yes,
You
Prabhu.
know he or she needs protection, right? And if the
Yeah.
child can anyone walk in and hurt the child? No. But as soon as the child is out of your vision, child is in danger. Maybe, right? He may cross the road, a car may come over, a stranger can come and hit him or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So our mother is Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. If we are in these radar of these 3 people, these 3 books, spiritual master, sadhus, and devotees, and Shastra in these books, no one can hurt you. Believe me, no matter how neo you are, how neophyte you are, no one can hurt you ever. So be under the radar of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And then you say, you sin, Krishna will forgive. You forget Krishna, Krishna will forgive. That's not a problem. But don't offend devotees. Then you're crossing your limit. You're crossing your limit. Who becomes a devotee, who doesn't become? It's a very big statement. Let Prabhupada and our acharyas deal with that. Our job is to ourselves become a devotee, and as per their guidance, if they have given us a seva, we do the seva for their pleasure. We are not, even in this class or any class, we are not making devotees. Very clear about it. What are we doing? We are following the instruction of our spiritual master. This class or any other class, any other seva is for their pleasure. Who are we to make devotees? And that's where we'll never be attached. Who comes in, who goes out. We do your best. I'm not saying you should not, but it's for the pleasure of my Guru Maharaj. And then you're not attached with the result. If my Guru Maharaj is pleased with the preaching services, for example, or other services, you are a full successful. How many devotees you made? 0. Perfectly fine. Guru is happy. Radhesham Prabhu is very clear on this point. And that's why we should not get attached. Attached to the service attitude, not the result of the seva. If you are doing it perfectly, Guru is happy. Result may externally be 0. Doesn't matter. Prabhupada was, externally speaking, almost 0 result. As a sannyasi, I'm talking 0 result. Failures, failures, failure. Family failure, business failure, spiritual life almost failure. He doesn't even have a place where he could stay. People were saying, Prabhupada ji, Swamiji, khali karo. And he had to move on. So many address changes he was doing. But he says, spiritually, Prabhupada was always successful. Krishna was pleased, his spiritual master was pleased. So, Radhesham Prabhu gives this message very clearly, and I'm so happy. Make your spiritual master, spiritual authorities happy. Don't judge the results from material means. You'll always be confused and discouraged. Understanding this material world, even Brahma cannot understand. Who are we to understand? And it's Krishna's arrangement, how he does, when he does, which. कहते ना, same incident, one will say मैं बर्बाद हो गया, another will say मैं आबाद हो गया. Same incident. Krishna is very, Krishna knows his ways. We can't understand his ways. So sorry, I went a little bit longer, but
No, Prabhu,
we're
it is
attached.
really very nice. Even though we have heard this before, but regularly hearing this gets us in a proper path. Very, very nice.
Any
Prabhu. Thank
seva
you
we
so
are
much.
doing to please
Yeah.
our spiritual master, nothing else. Who becomes devotee in the class? In one way, none of our business. And if we are doing it sincerely, our spiritual master or Prabhupada, they will make devotees. They will enter in that soul's heart and convert it.
Yeah.
Our Vani, does it have any strength or purity? What our Vani will do? Yeah, the Vani can do if I repeat the same statement without any adulteration of my spiritual teachers. The same Vani with the strength of Prabhupada will enter in that heart and change the heart. That's why we should never judge material results in a spiritual realm. And that's why devotee get discouraged many, many times. Devotee should be very enthusiastic. Vasudev was very enthusiastic, although he was in jail. He was supremely, and the example our acharyas give. Imagine if your child is murdered right in front of your eyes. One child, two child, three child. With any parents bring another fourth child in the world, be honest. Be honest. You know what the result is going to be before even child conception. You know the result. Will you have bravery to bring another child? It says Vasudev brought Krishna in the 7th year. He was so brave. He's called Shauri. Why? One of the characteristics. His enthusiasm wasn't down, although so many failures came in his life. So Prabhupada was so many failures came in his life. Devotee's enthusiasm is not relying on the material result. And this is our hanging on to it, our hanging on to it with our Shastra and Guru. There is no other material results which are, yeah, sometimes we all need some inspiration, acknowledgement, and say, Prabhuji, wonderful seva. We all need that. That's not the main thread. The main thread is your connection with your Guru. Simple as that. If my Guru is happy, let the whole world say against me. No one cares. Sridhar Maharaj said very clearly, if the whole world is praising me, but Krishna is not happy, to hell with those praise. But if whole world is criticizing me, if Krishna is pleased with my seva, he says actually the word spit. Sorry to say. He says, if whole world is spitting at me, but if Krishna is pleased, my seva is successful. Now, how do you materially judge that? You can't. So our thread should be with our spiritual authorities. And a devotee is always happy in any situation. Oh, sorry. I'm also in the same boat, Charu Mataji and Madhu Mataji. So, but these statements make us wonderfully situated in our devotional practices, and we move forward.
Sure, okay. Prabhu, thank you so much.
Thank you, Matas. And you all please bless me. I can realize 1% of what I just said.
No.
Okay, let's move forward.
Vijay Gopi Mataji was having some questions.
No, sorry, Prabhu, like my thoughts would be worthless. I'm just thinking like, we always ask Krishna, please, can you help us to get attached to you? We keep on asking Krishna, and he will make so many arrangements to make us realize that, whatever relationship we may have may not give the expected results what we want to.
And
so we keep making those arrangements, but still we can't able to realize that, or getting detached from the family and then getting attached to Krishna. So but what I am thinking is like, these are the lessons which Krishna is telling us. Okay, this is how the material nature is, this is how your relationships are. In that point we have to get detached from it, and then we still have to show the affection. Like there is a difference between affection and attachment, Prabhu, isn't it? Affection is like we just do it as a matter of duty, whereas attachment is expecting some results. So in that way we have to shift. In that moment we have to shift from the attachment to the affection and start getting attached to Krishna. I mean, I'm just saying I'm not doing it 100%, but I'm trying to, because all the relationships are not giving the complete results what we expect. So I'm just giving a...
This resonates so well with and I know exactly what Vijay Gopi Mataji is saying, that you have to do your duty and yet you need to be detached. And I know we've learned about this and we've read about this, and it just Bhagavad Gita just talks about this, but it is quite hard. Even though, yeah.
So we are in a journey. We have not reached the destination. We are in a journey. Okay, let's move forward. 1323. Any volunteers?
Yeah, Prabhu, I can do it.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Verse 23. Upadrashta anumanta cha.
Upadrashta anumanta cha.
Bharta bhokta maheshwarah.
Bharta bhokta maheshwarah.
Paramatmeti chapyukto.
Paramatma iti chapyukto.
Dehesmin purusha paraha.
Dehesmin purusha paraha.
Hare Krishna. Yet in this body, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and the permitter, and who is known as the super soul. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll start from the last line. Dehe asmin. So it's quite clear. In this deha, in this body, purushaha, okay, paraha. So para refers to transcendental, as Prabhupada writes here, Purusha para. There is another Purusha which resides in this body besides the Purusha which we have been talking about. So in the previous 3 verses, you saw Purusha, 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 living entity, living entity, living entity. Now he is talking about Paraha Purusha, transcendental living entity. And there are 5 qualifications given in this particular verse. And let's see how they are and how they compare with the normal living entity. Upadrashta. So Upadrashta, Prabhupada writes as overseer. So what does overseer mean? He oversees everything. Nothing is, hiding from him. If you are doing any act, the simple example which comes to my mind when Yudhishthir was asked by Dronacharya and other students as well in the same academy that they were all given an apple or a mango or something and said, go and eat this mango where no one is seeing you. So someone went into a room and they ate the mango, someone closed the curtain and they ate the mango, someone went under the blanket and ate the mango. Yudhishthir Maharaj was the only one who came back with the mango. And Dronacharya says, Are, you did not follow my instruction? And he said, Guru Maharaj, I could not follow your instruction because I could not find a place where no one was watching me. That's called Upadrashta. So he is seeing everything. But he's not directly like, Are, ye kya kar rahe ho? He's not going to come and say, chili already dal diya sabji mein, ab dobara mat dalo. He already put the chili in the sabji. Huh? So he's not going to, he's watching it. He's not sort of interfering us. Sri Prahlad Prabhu said in a class, as a Paramatma, Krishna is watching all of your actions, but he's not interfering. Why? Because he's like a judge. Judge will not interfere in the life of a thief, for example. Oh, you should not do thievery and all that. So you should invite the same Paramatma as Bhagwan in our life and pray to him. You please do interfere in my life. Do interfere. Now, a neighbor will not come in your house and say, Prabhuji, this is wrong, that is wrong. But your father or brother can come. Arey, this is not correct in your house because he has that adhikar, he has the relationship with you. Huh? So unless we establish a relationship with Bhagavan and invite him in our life, he will always act as Paramatma. So we should pray to Krishna. Krishna, don't just be a Paramatma in my heart, become Bhagavan. Interfere, stop me doing the wrong things and give me, good intelligence so that I can do the right thing. So slowly, Krishna will manifest in our life and will give us the right intelligence and the right Shakti to follow that right intelligence. Many times we know what is right and wrong, right? But we do the wrong thing. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajo gun sambhava. So not only we need, my Guru Maharaj said, not only we need the instruction, we need the Shakti to follow the instruction as well. 2 things we need. That's why we need Krishna to give the instruction and Balram to get the Shakti. Balram is Guru. We need both. The Krishna and Balram has to go together. Because we not only need the instruction, we know a lot of instruction. We have a lot of degrees, we know a lot of shlokas and all that. Do we have Shakti to follow? Not sure. So we need Shakti as well. Now, if you only have Shakti and no instruction, you'll misuse it, isn't it? You only have Shakti, lot of Shakti, no. Prabhupada said, especially Australian devotees, he said, I'm referring to Australian devotees, he said, you're like Hanuman. Lot of Shakti, lot of jumping around, and not doing the service properly. You have a lot of Shakti, you have to listen. So sometimes we have a lot of Shakti, but we don't have proper guidance, proper vision. So both are needed. Updrashta, Anumanta. Anumanta means Anumati dene wala, who gives the permission. So who gives the permission? It says not even a blade of grass moves without Krishna's permission. So that's the second one. Bharta. Bharta means he is the maintainer. Bhokta, he is the enjoyer. We think we are the Bhokta, we are the Bharta. If I earn some money, I may think I'm the Bharta of my family. Excuse me? Really? It's Krishna the Bharta. Your money will not feed the family. Krishna is making those arrangements. We are just a medium to get that money as per our destiny. Bhokta, again, Krishna is the Bhokta. We give it to Krishna, and through Krishna, we do Bhokta. We also enjoy by attending to Krishna. Maheshwaraha, he is the supreme proprietor, Prabhupada writes. So Maheshwara is the supreme Lord. He is supreme. He is Maha Ishwara, Maha control. So we are all Ishwara, but he is Maha Ishwara. And what it is called, these 5 qualities which person has, Paramatma iticha apyukto. That is called as Paramatma. So the definition of Paramatma and the job profile of Paramatma. So Paramatma word is used in Bhagavad Gita at many places, but the Job profile, the job description is given in this particular 5 things. Updrashta, he is the overseer, he is seeing every single activity. He may not be interfering as yet. Updrashta. Anumanta, he is the permitter, he gives the permission. Say a terrorist cannot blow a building unless Krishna gives the permission. So in that sense, he has given the permission, because all those people who have done a particular karma, they come together, and that point in time, their fruits of karma is mature. They had to get the reaction. Now, it doesn't mean we do something like that. No, Krishna told Arjun to kill Bhishma Pitama, right? It says when we do something, it's called karma. When upper superior asks us to do something, that's called seva. So many times devotee do karma. We should not do karma, we should do seva. So we should not snatch the other seva. I've seen in our temple as well, unfortunately. Sometimes devotees snatch the seva. We should never do that. We should do the seva means we are doing that activity which is given to us by our superiors, and we are performing that activity for the pleasure of the superior. And karma means, I'm going to give class today. No, that may happen. You have that authority. You have to have some arrangements and all that. So we should try to do seva. Seva means you go to the kitchen. I'm looking at Manmohan Prabhuji. Prem Sagar Prabhu say, he asked with a smile, Prabhuji, what can I do for you? And Prem Sagar Prabhu will say, Prabhu, cut paneer. That's called seva. If he say paneer 1 inch by 1 inch, so Manmohan Prabhu will say, okay, Prabhuji. If I'll be there, Prabhu, why 1 by 1? Why not 1.5 by 1.5? Now, when I'm doing all that, it does not mean we don't ask question. I'm saying when we have that mentality, then I know better. He's not the leader. Then actually that becomes a karma. So many times you should be very careful in dealing with the devotees. We always doing seva. Even if you receiving a gift, you receive the gift as a seva. By receiving this gift, I'm giving pleasure to this devotee. And a person who's giving it, obviously, he wants to give to this devotee, and this devotee is also giving. So you should always give. My Guru Maharaj says, you should always give more than what you get. Then you are in a then you are properly situated. Give more. Usually, when the fight happens, then we want to get more. Mere liye kya hai? What I'm going to get out of this? That's where the disagreement starts. When we are in giving mode, again, you can accept the gift, no problem with that. In a giving mode. This Prabhu has got a beautiful thing for me, a beautiful photo of Krishna from Vrindavan. Thank you, Prabhu. You're giving pleasure to that devotee. So, Hanumanta. Bharta, he is the supreme maintainer of everyone, and he is the Bhokta, and he is the Mahaishvara. Okay, let's move to the next one. 13:24. Shraddha Mataji, would you like to do one?
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
thank you.
Krishna Mataji.
Ya evam veti purusham
Ya evam veti purusham
prakritim cha gude saha
prakritim cha gunai saha
sarvatha vartanamopi
sarvatha vartamanopi
sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo
nasa bhuyo abhijayate nasa bhuyo abhijayate.
Translation: One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So in the previous, if you remember, from 20, 21, 22, we read about how this jiva, a purusha, is stuck in the material world. You know the seed word? Bhoktratve, because of the feeling of enjoying mentality. Now in 23rd verse, Krishna spoke about Param Purusha. There's another Purusha living in that. Now Krishna is talking the result of knowing this two Purushas, right? So one is the Paramatma, one is the Atma. What's the result of it? Ya evam veti Purusham. Here Purusha again refers to which Purusha? The living entity, because living entity needs liberation. Paramatma doesn't need liberation, right? So this Purusha refers to living entity. Ya evam veti, jo ye janta hai, one who knows this. What he knows is prakriti cha gunai saha. This is all happening because of the modes of material nature. Sarvatha vartamanopi. Vartaman refers to, everyone know Vartaman in Hindi. There's a word Vartaman. Bhuta bhavishya vartaman. So past, present, and future. So Vartaman refers to present. Sarvatha, always, including Vartaman. Sometimes we say, when I will go back to Goloka, I will do this and that. No, actually, Goloka can be achieved right now. Why? Because Guru Maharaj says Vrindavan is a state of consciousness. It's not just a physical place where you go there. No, there's definitely a physical place and we should go there. But it's more than that. What is you are living Vrindavan? That means your mind consciousness is of Vrindavan consciousness. Serving mentality of Krishna. So, Sarvatha Vartmanopi. So, no matter which job you are doing, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, you work as a customer service, you are a grahastha, you are a sannyasi, it does not matter. So, Sarvatha means all the time, including your today's situation where you are in, good, bad, whatever. If you know this knowledge of Purusha and Prakriti with the guna, with the modes of material nature, nasa bhuyo abhijayate, you will never take birth again. So this verse represents the result of that knowledge which Krishna has discussed in last 4 verses. Is it clear? So if you know the Purusha, you know the Prakriti, you know the modes of material nature. If you know this knowledge, well, you will always be liberated, including in the current state. You don't have to. Prabhupada is known as Jivan Mukta. He doesn't have to give up life to become Mukta, which many of people have this conception. Hum jaake merge ho jayenge, future. No. Jivan Mukta means right now. A devotee is always liberated, not after this life. Always. Sarvatha Vartaman Api, even in today's situation. Abhijayate refers to takes birth. He will na abhijayate. He will not take birth again. 25. Now he tell in 25 3 ways of knowing this knowledge. In 26 he will tell 1 way. And we'll see what these 3 plus 1 are. Who hasn't read as yet? Vinay Prabhuji, would you like to? He is a Brajavasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dhyane atmani pashyanti.
Dhyane atmani pashyanti.
Kechit atmanam atmana.
Kechit atmanam atmana.
Anne sankhena yogena.
Anne sankhena yogena.
Karmo yogena chapare.
Karma yogena chapare.
Translation: some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still other through working without furtive desire. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So he's telling 1 way is dhyana. Atmani pashyanti. Here Atmani refers to your inner self. Prabhupada writes within the self. Pashyanti, you see. You see your inner self by dhyana. Kechit. Kechit means Kechit ahur ajabjatam. In Kunti Maharani prayers you read that word. Kechit means some. Some people. Now there are 2 words he's used here. Atmanam and Atmana. So if you can remember these words, Prabhupada, Atmanam always refers to the super soul and Atmana refers to the mind. And these words are also repeatedly used in Bhagavad Gita. So there you can see the 3 Atma words in the first 2 lines. Atmani, Atmanam, and Atmana. So Atmani refers to yourself, your inner self, within the self. Atmanam refers to super soul and Atmana refers to the mind. So basically what this line is saying, through Atmana, through your mind, you see Atmanam, super soul. And what's the method of seeing it? Dhyan. So through the dhyan, you look in within yourself, through your mind, you look at the super soul. 1 method. Anne, some other people, Sankhya Yoga, do the same thing. What's the same thing? Pashyanti Atmanam Atmana. Others are doing, what method they are taking? Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga, if you say generally speaking, to 24 elements, which we have discussed earlier as well. And cha apare, there another person, another group you can say doing the same activity through Karma Yoga. So some are using Karma Yoga, some are using Sankhya Yoga, and some are using Dhyana Yoga to see within themselves. And this we all know. These are the valid ways. But there's 1 way which is not discussed in this particular verse, right? 1 way. So we know Sankhya Yoga, we know Dhyana Yoga, we know Karma Yoga. 1 thing is not discussed as yet. Let's look at verse 26. Charu Mataji, would you like to do?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. अन्ये त्वम् एवम् अज्ञातः
अन्ये त्व एवम् अजानन्तः
अन्ये त्व एवम् अजानन्तः
अन्ये त्व एवम् अजानन्तः
श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते
श्रुत्वा नेभ्यः उपासते
ते अपि चाति च तितरन्ते एव
तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव
तेऽपि चातितरन्तेव
तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव
मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणः.
मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः.
Translation. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So Anne, now he's referring to Anne, like Anne word is used in previous Apare, Keched, Anne. This all refers to different groups of people. You can say Anne, this is another one which does not follow the three methods told in the previous verse. What are the three methods? Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. So they don't follow that. This is another category is talking in this particular verse. Anye to evam ajananta. Evam refers to those three categories. Ajananta. Anyone knows the word ajananta? We have read this. Jananti, avajananti, ajananti. Anyone remembers from 9th chapter? Vijay Gopi Mataji is nodding her head. Maybe you can explain, Mataji.
Yes, knowing, one is without knowing, one is knowing, but just opposite of what is the truth.
What are the Sanskrit words, Mataji? So Jananti means
Jananti is knowing.
Ajananti?
Jananti is not knowing.
Avajananti?
Knowing it in the wrong way.
Avajananti mam muda. So we know that Krishna says that. So here the word is used here is ajananta. Ajananta means it's not avajananta, it's ajananta, not knowing. So there are some apare people who does not know these three methods. Is it clear, the first line? Anye tva evam ajanantaha. So what do they know? What do they do? Shrutva. Shrutva refers to what? Hearing. Hearing. Shrutva annebhya upaste. How do they do upasana? Worship? Shrutva, by hearing. What's the example? Parikshit Maharaj, who was doing upasana by hearing. He did not take a arati plate and he did not take chamar and more punk and all that. Shrutva upasate. He did Shrutva upasate. Hearing. What are we doing right now? We are hearing Prabhupada or some other teachers. Tepi chati taranti eva. They also taranti. Taranti word is quite clear, right? They also go across. They also go across. Eva. Eva here is, everyone know, EVA, IVA. I always say that.
Certainly.
Certainly. Mrityum. From where they're going to do taran, where they're going to cross over, Mrityu. Mrityu means this Mrityu Sansara Sagarat. Shruti Parayana. If they become Shruti Parayana, Parayan refers to, Narayan Parayana, Kama Krodha Parayana. Parayan means to take shelter, complete shelter. So some devotees are called Narayan Parayana. That means Kevala Bhakta. That means complete shelter of Narayan or Krishna. Now, we are not in that category as yet. So we also take shelter of Krishna sometimes, but Parayan refers to complete shelter. Parikshit Maharaj took complete shelter of that method. That's why in one Purana, the names of these devotees who are topmost in this Navvida Bhakti, like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, these names are given. Anyone knows Shravanam, who is the topmost? I'm talking about it, Parikshit Maharaj. Kirtanam, who is the topmost in Kirtan? Everyone knows that. You can unmute yourself. Sukadeva Goswami. Vishnu Smaranam?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj. So, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam.
Lakshmi Dev.
Thank you. कोई और भी बोलेंगे? Someone else can speak as well. Pada Sevanam. Archanam? Vijay Gopi Mataji is ticking. Jaldi bolo. Otherwise, Mataji will say. Ujjwala sa Mataji thinking about it. Archanam.
Is it Akrura?
Archanam.
Akrura?
Archanam. No. Archanam. Vijay Gopi Mata.
Sorry, brother.
Prathu Maharaj. Archanam is Prathu Maharaj. Vandanam is Akrura Ujjwala Mataji. Vandanam is prayers. Akrura offered prayers. Archanam is deity worship. Prathu Maharaj is the topmost. Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. Everyone knows Dasyam. Who is that?
Hanumanji.
Hanumanji. Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. Sakhyam is
Arjuna.
And Atmanivedan is?
Bali
Bali
Maharaj.
Thank you. Everyone knows everything, huh? So these 9 methods are given. So that means they are perfect in that that vidhi of bhakti. Now, which section we are in? Khichdi. But this is fine. We do some Shutva, we do some Archana, we do some Mandana, but that's fine. But Prabhupada has written purport. Even if you perfect your life in one method, your life is perfect. Huh? But obviously, we are doing a mix of everything because we are in Kali Yuga. We cannot just take shelter of one vidhi. But one vidhi itself, the point which I'm trying to make, one vidhi itself is enough for us to take us back to Godhead. Just one vidhi. Huh? Just one vidhi. So here, which vidhi we are talking? Shutva Parayana. Take complete shelter of Shutva, hearing, again, hearing from authority. Prabhupada has written here in the translation, because of their tendency to hear from authority. This is very important, not just hearing, I don't name anyone, but from anyone, anywhere. No, that's not what is Shutva, because everyone is speaking so many nonsense as well. Huh? Speaking, hearing from the right parampara, bona fide spiritual master. They also transcend the path of birth and death. So now you'll all agree with this verse. That's not a problem. But you will say why they are saying te api chati taranti eva. वो भी पार कर जाते हैं. It should be other way, isn't it? You should be saying the Mayavadis also, sorry, Brahmavadis also pass. The reason is we are sitting in a Jnana section. Krishna has to appreciate sometime, that knowledge as well. So Krishna sitting in the Jnana saying, don't think just you guys will go back. Other guys is also, who does not know dhyana, who does not know sankhya. So devotee may not know all this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All he needs to do, hear from the right authority. I remember this incident in Kurma Brahman, who does not know even how to read and write. He was holding Bhagavad Gita upside down. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, your reading of Bhagavad Gita is perfect. Because you have understood. And he said, I am reading. I don't know how to read, but I'm reading because my spiritual master instructed me to read Bhagavad Gita. But when I read, I cry. He was crying. He said, I see Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and sitting as a chariot driver. Chariot driver is not such a big position. On the chariot of his devotee. When I see this, I cry. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, your reading of Bhagavad Gita is perfect. Now he didn't know. Now we may have the Bhakti Shastri certificate. Sorry, if we do not cry holding Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita, there's still some gap. There's still some gap. So we should aspire for that to happen one day. We should cry. We should cry. Radhanath Maharaj very beautifully says, but we should not artificially cry. We should not cry for public praises. That's Sahajiya. But internally, a devotee's tears are reserved for Krishna internally. I look at Radhanath Maharaj picture, I get so much inspiration from Maharaj. So Maharaj said, but not crying to get praises. Oh, Prabhu, you are so great devotee. That's Sahajiya. A devotee's tears are reserved for Krishna. So your tears should be reserved for Krishna. Don't cry for other people. That's Sansarika. I think in one class somewhere I was discussing about 4 types of crying. Sansarikas are crying, Sahajiyas are crying, Sadhakas are crying, and Siddhas are also crying. So we should cry Sadhakas at least, if not Siddhas. Sansarika cry, Keshav Maharaj said in one of the classes, Sridhar Maharaj mentioned in his writings, if we accumulate all the tears, we're talking about Sansarikas here, if we accumulate all the tears which we have shed in different lifetimes for different aspirations, it will be enough to fill an ocean. Sridhar Maharaj is telling that. It will be enough to fill an ocean. So much we have cried. So no more crying. No more crying. For Sansarika purpose. Let it be. Sansar will be here. We
are Prakriti Parayana.
Prakriti Parayana, yes. Thank you, Mata. Now devotee is speaking verses now. Philosophy is hopefully helping. So eventually we should become Shruti Parayana. We should hear from Prabhupada and likewise with the sadhus. And then we will get purified. And then one day we will be in a right situation. Okay. Let's do one more verse. This is the last verse of this section. Then we can stop the class. 1 second. I'll just see. Actually, 26 was the last one. Sorry, we're starting a new section. I'll just do this. It's like a summary thing. We'll just do this quickly. Who wants to read? Who hasn't read as yet? I'm not naming it. Okay, Vijay Gopal Mataji.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Ladies first, Sundar Gopal Prabhu.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Prabhu.
No, you go ahead, Mataji. I was just saying to Sundar Gopal Prabhu, let Mataji read.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hand, you also raise hand, so I was just saying.
Yeah, let him read, Prabhu. It's okay.
No, Mata, you are the senior one.
By age, Prabhu, that's it.
No, Mata.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yavat sanjayate kinchit
Yavat sanjayate kinchit
satvam satpara jnanamam.
Sattvam is Sthavar Jangamam. So Sthavar is a word, Jangam is a word. So Sthavar means one who does not move, Jangam is who moves. So
Sattvam satpara jangamam.
Sattvam Sthavar Jangamam.
Kshetra kshetra jnana samyoga.
Kshetra kshetra gya samyogat.
Tadviddhi Bharatarshava.
Tadvidhi Bharatarshava.
O chief of Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Yavat Sanjayate Kinchit. So Kinchit word we all know. Alpam, Kinchit, Thoda sa. So whatever, Yavat Sanjayate, whatever you see around you. Sattvam. Sattvam is existence. Sattvam word is used many times in Srimad Bhagavatam. Whether it's Sthavar, not moving. Achara, we call it. Chara, we call it moving, or Jangam. So Chara or Jangam, you can say it's the same word. Achara or Sthavar is the same word. Chaitanya Charitamrita is a famous verse. I can't remember in my mind. My Guru Maharaj used to quote many times. Anyway, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we can see Krishna even in Jangam and Sthavar. That's the verse. Anyway, someone can find it. So whatever we see, whether it's moving or non-moving, what it is a result of Kshetra and Kshetragya Samyoga. Samyoga means their union, their interaction, you can say. So Kshetra refers to the area of influence, and Kshetragya refers to the knower. Now, obviously, we know there are two knowers, and without the super soul sanction, the soul cannot do anything unless the super soul gives him permission. Tad Vidhi Bhartashaba. Please, Bhartashaba, Arjun, know this. So basically what this verse is saying, you should not get attracted to the forms of the material world, because forms is just a combination. A simple example can be given. If there are, 5 different types of colors. Sorry, I'm remembering Adi Dev drawing a picture. Papa has given a color box. Color box has 10 different colors. RGB, for example, red, green, and blue. Now, Adidev Prabhuji takes that RGB and makes a beautiful picture. And Papa will say, wow, beta, kya banaya hai aapne, huh? What a wonderful picture you have drawn. But do we get attracted to colors as much as the picture? No. The raw colors, the raw ingredients, namak, haldi, mircha, dal chawal, they don't attract us so much. When a nice prasadam comes out, whatever, gulab jamun, gajar ka halwa, rabdi, imarti, pakoda, when they come out, they are very, very attractive. So the form which we get attracted to, we should know this is nothing but a combination of those ingredients, raw ingredients. So when we have that feeling, then we'll not get too much attracted and will not be too much bogged up with these things around us. So I'll just read it again. Know that whatever you see in existence, both moving or non-moving, so it's not just talking about the Jangam. Jangam is moving entities. Also Sthavar, like even the trees and the nature, the rivers, mountains, anything is only a combination of the field of the activities and the knower of the field. I'll stop here. It's 53. If anyone has a quick question, I can take for next 2 minutes. The last time I know I was 10 minutes late, so I wanted to leave little early today. Just compensate.
Prabhu, I've just typed the verse here.
Type the verse.
Sthavar jangam dekhe na dekhe.
Thank you, Mother. You have heard more lectures than me. That's nice. So this is CC Madhya 8.274. My Guru Maharaj used to quote this verse a lot. Thank you, Mother. Anyone else has anything to say? Except Sundar Gopal Prabhu, he has few things to say, I know. No, he's working behind the scene very, very hard. Honestly, he spends a lot of time. So I really want to appreciate Sundar Prabhuji. Extra efforts. I know how many hours we go in this particular field. So every one of you should really thank you, Sundar Prabhuji. for putting all the extra effort. Like we are also doing something, but he does more than that. Others, he does his assignment and everything, also, obviously, but he does us. He helped me in lot of other things. So thank you, Sundar Prabhuji, for all your help. Okay, now Prabhuji has few announcements to make. I'll let him do it.
Prabhu, we did the poll for the picnic and for the face-to-face class on the 3rd of September. So picnic on the 30th. We received, yes, Prabhu. So we received for the picnic, we received a total of 18 votes, out of which 15 said yes and 3 said no. So we haven't obviously received all the votes yet.
That's okay. Many devotees have different services, but just saying, if possible, please come. It's just a simple gathering, and we'll try to keep it very, very simple in terms of admin work. We'll just sit around. I don't know the location, but I think someone is deciding that.
Yeah, we'll probably put the location as well, and it should be convenient to everyone. That's what we're thinking.
Okay. And just one thing I can add, for everyone's help, it might be very close to temple, so you can come to temple, take darshan, and just spend some time. You can bring your family if that's okay. Your mother, father, children, brother, whoever wants to come and join us. There might be some very light, fun activities.
Yeah, I'll share the link maybe of the location.
Okay.
It's Berry Island that we're thinking.
Okay. So Berry Island, everyone knows, it's very close to temple, a very, very beautiful place. And many devotees go there for sort of picnic. It's all free, parking, etc. Everything is free. Very close to temple. It's like 5 minutes drive from temple, but it's an island. Bushwalk, swings for children. Even Janvi can come if he can. There are some facilities for Janvi as well. Thank you for giving darshan of Janvi Mata.
So we can drive to the island, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu is just, it's a beautiful place. I also was told by some devotee, well, they invited for a birthday party there. I'm like, wow, but it's fantastic. You have a city view, water view.
Prabhu, our first Bhakti Shastri's first catch up was there only, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So yeah, Madhuri Mati is the beach. Sorry.
Yeah.
She was the one who invited there first, if I'm not wrong. Anyway,
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
So anyway, yes, Sundar Prabhu, the next one.
So Prabhu, the next one was the face-to-face class. So we received 21 votes on that, and out of which 17 are agreeing to have a face-to-face class once a month. That is, and this one was on the 3rd of September.
Okay.
That we would do. So I think it's a go. I mean, and
yeah.
For those who can't join us in person, we'll do a Zoom as well, so we can.
Yeah, but who have said yes, try to make it. Because it encourages other devotees as well. My theory is like that. So it's not only for me, it's for others as well. So see whatever best we can. Okay.
Yes, sir. I think those.
Anything else?
Unless I'm missing out something.
No, I think that's it. So thank you everyone. And also last thing I wanted to add, not today you got the result, and again, please forgive me if I have not did the right thing. And I said in the beginning of the call, please correct me, because I'm a human being. With all the human conditioning, I may have made a mistake in assessing your results. I really hate doing this, to be honest. Who I am to judge any devotee's thing, but I'm just doing as a seva. So please forgive me if you find that my correction wasn't correct. So I'm happy to be corrected by all of you. You can call me and say, Hemanga Chaitanya, kyun mera mark kat liya? I have written the right answer. So I'll be very happy to hear from you if I have made a mistake. And literally, please consider this as a seva. I'm not judging anyone. And sometimes I've told some devotees to make some corrections. I was feeling bad. They're on the call as well. So please forgive me, Prabhuji's and Mataji's. The intention was purely to do this seva, which has been given to me. So please take it that way. But please call me. And if you want to blast me off, more than happy to listen that, because it's for my improvement. And I don't want to make any offense to anyone. Just trying to do the seva as best as my capacity. So with that sort of disclaimer, I beg your forgiveness if there was any mistakes. Okay.
So I'd like to say something. Thank you for inspiring us so much. I think I've been with this temple for quite some time now, and I have never felt so motivated like I have in this Purushottam month. And the credit goes to you and you only. Thank you. You just do it so effortlessly, and because you walk the talk, it makes it easy for you to just follow your instructions. So thank you very, very much. And I think I wrote to you as well. In material age, I'm older than you, but spiritual age, you're light years ahead of us. Thank you very much.
That's your chashma, Bhakta ka chashma.
I second that, Prabhu, what she said.
I would second that, Prabhu.
Okay.
What she said.
Thank you to all of you. You have nice chashma. Please keep your chashma and your blessings on me.
Here, Prabhu.
Ditto, Prabhu.
Thank you.
I've
आप बस
belonged
प्रभु
with-
बोल दिया कीजिए, सब कर लेंगे, अपने आप ही हो जाते हैं। आपकी बस बोल कोई और बोले तो बात मानने का वो नहीं होता, इतना मोटिवेट। आप एक बार बोल दें, बस ऐसा लगता है करना है, वो
करना है बस, फिर वो जाता नहीं है, मतलब you feel guilty for not doing something.
I'll just add one more thing which Prabhupada said, which is very important. Prabhupada said, I'm like a loudspeaker. So my Guru Maharaj is speaking and you see my mouth, loudspeaker. So that's all it is. So you're following.
But Prabhu, not all loudspeakers are so effective. So please, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mata. Please, all of you, Matajis and Prabhujis, please bless me. Whatever the gaps are there, I have a lot of gaps. So please bless me so the gaps can be fulfilled. That will be the success of this seva. That's all. This is just a seva. So the success will be become closer to Lord, all of us as a group. So
I don't think our yatra has done 64 rounds ever. In
Actually,
such
I'm
a
very
large
happy on
number,
Yes,
like
Prabhu.
we did in the on last 2 Ekadashis. And Prabhu, you know that as well. So it was only your motivation, the way you said it.
Yes, Prabhu, religiously followed, Prabhu.
Yes.
I have to say, I'm so happy. Literally yesterday, every hour or so, I was getting messages, even from those people who I didn't have the contact for. I knew them later, I realized. But one devotee family, I'm just appreciating. 2 teenage boy and girl and parents, they offered 190 rounds.
Wow.
190 rounds in one day, I'm talking obviously. Huh? That's a teenage boys and girl. Like the girl is just, I was like, my God, look at this. I was very impressed. Like, this is a real example. And so many devotees in service. I cannot publish the numbers with the name, but I will publish the name again for Gopinath Seva. So I have to say, I was so happy reading the messages. Yesterday, Rasanand Prabhu was sending me messages. Vijay Gopi Mataji, I can say that. First one to complete, 64 at like 12 o'clock or something. I'm like, I said it, I haven't done it as yet. I did it eventually, but and Rupam Prabhu was constantly sending me message, Prabhu 32, 48, 54. Divya Mata last night was Prabhu 54. And I have to say, Rachit Prabhu, most of you would know, he has done 64 rounds yesterday. Rachit, he's 14-year-old boy, 64 rounds. Huh? And other kids also, like Anish Prabhu, Rajan Prabhu's son, Monika Mataji's son, 32 rounds yesterday. Huh? So devotees have done wonderful. And our little Gaur Gopal sitting next to me, he also broke his record, 26 rounds yesterday.
wow.
Hari Bol. Can we
Full
see
big
him?
wala.
Hari
Okay, Gaur
Bol.
Gopalji, come. So he's here, Bhai Sahab. Yay!
Wow.
He
And
listened
he
to all
attends
the-
Mangala Aarti,
He did Mangala Aarti 2 days in a row. He was sick actually. He is still quite sick. But yeah, he tried. Ujjwal Rasa Mataji, Akhand Rasa Prabhu. I was speaking to them yesterday, and Akhand Rasa Prabhu, nahi, Ujjwal Rasa Mataji, chalega. And then they messaged me, we have done it. I'm like, wow. Rupam Prabhu actually sits the topmost, actually, I have to say 75.
Wow.
Bol.
And then we have many 70s, actually, I have to say 73 is there, 72 is there, 68 is there, 64 is there. So amazing effort. Honestly, I was so happy.
It's all because
reading
of
all
you
this.
only, Prabhu. It's
No,
all
Mataji, who I am to say this.
No, a
No,
lot
no.
of inspiration.
Lot of
But
inspiration,
all
Prabhu. We
of us
haven't done anything
together.
in our life like this. It's just
Yeah.
because of your motivation.
But later on, you will see, because you have done 164. Now, my humble request again, if you could do 32 on Ekadashi, we should do that. 32 on Ekadashi is not so difficult. Working day, non-working day, just make a plan.
Many
again,
people after last Ekadeshi, they did 64, and next day for them, even though they are not doing 16 rounds, Prabhu, they said we are doing 16 rounds. That is very easy now.
it looks so easy after 64. Today I was thinking in the
Prabhu.
morning, only 20 today. Arey, kya hai 20?
16 was so easy.
Yeah. So Keshav Maharaj said, and my Guru Maharaj also have said, to increase the quality, one way is only one way, is to increase the quantity. So you can say, oh, what is there in the quantity, number? No, number has a significance as well. So increase the quality. One way is, there are many ways as well, to increase the quantity. So when we increase lot of rounds, and my Guru also says, the love of Godhead starts from 17. Because from 17, we are doing volunteer rounds. Up to 16 is a duty. So he said we should chant extra. My Guru Maharaj chanted 32 rounds for many, many years. Every day, I'm talking every day. Not once in a while, 32 every day. So we should attempt on Ekadashi, we can do. On special days, we can do. I know it's hard. Everything is hard in the world. Nothing is cheap. Nothing is cheap. But when we do it, you get a spiritual strength. That's what many times devotees feel weakness. One way, extra reading, extra chanting, and extra seva for Krishna we should do, and Vaishnava seva we should do. Extra seva, voluntarily. No one is asking you, do it. Do it. So there are many devotees on the call. I don't want to say the name, but they do extra seva. One of them is Mother Divya. Mother Divya does so many sevas without asking, and amazing. And other devotees as well, I'm not saying. So a lot of inspiration comes from all of you. So please keep inspiring each other. But we can do together. It's not the end of the world. When I asked some devotees 64, they said, 64? Like, it's okay. I didn't ask for 192. And they did it. They did it. And I'm like, thank you, mother, you did it. So the number which felt like not achievable from any perspective in their life, they did it. One devotee did 50, like, chalega, 50 means chalega. Two young kids, 50 rounds. Not easy, I'm telling you. There are a lot of responsibilities at home. So wonderful effort. Gopinath is very kind for allowing us to do it. So please be together like this, and we can do it. We can do it one day.
I think it's a mind thing, Prabhu. Now we all have achieved 64. It like moving forward, it won't
75.
be. Yeah, that was my previous 10.
Yeah. So we get the point. We can do it, and we should. Just one more last thing I'll say, because looking at Radhanath Maharaj picture, Radhanath Maharaj told recently, I'm talking say 2 years ago around, he called very core devotee group, which is like Gauranga Prabhu, Radheshyam Prabhu, and those sort of Radha Gopinath Prabhu. And Maharaj said to these guys, now we all understand how busy these are. He said, my recommendation is you do 64 rounds on Ekadashi. Radhanath Maharaj is speaking to Gauranga Prabhu, Radheshyam Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu. It's Radhanath Maharaj's statement. So you can value this statement coming from Maharaj. And Radheshyam Prabhu was studying in his class, and Maharaj said, and he put a disclaimer, it's a recommendation, not an instruction, because I know you guys are very busy. But Radheshyam Prabhu took it seriously. Now you see, he does like 8 to 10 programs each day. He is busy, is extremely tight. He also makes the time to do 64 rounds on Ekadashi. Who are we to make an excuse? Now I'm requesting only 32. 32, it's possible. 2.5 hours extra in the morning. And then rest of the duties, you all have kids or family or other things, we can do it. Don't make distinction between weekday and weekend and no kid or kid and this and all these are external things. You make up your mind and pray to Krishna. You please help me to do it, and Krishna will make it happen. Krishna will make it happen. Anyway, I leave it to individuals now, whatever possible. It's very nice, very, very nice yesterday. Thank you, everyone.